Testing, testing, hello?
Yep, you're on.
Hello? Are we broadcasting?
Yep.
Are we broadcasting live? Are we really broadcasting live?
Yes.
Anybody in the room?
Nope.
Okay, where do we watch?
What do you mean? People will just chat me.
No, you'll see a number. How many are on the
Viewers.
0 viewers? Nice.
Well, I'll do this.
So all we do is hang out now, and when there's one viewer, get started.
So this is what I'll do.
Color is still, I think it's the angle. Yeah, it's the angle.
Oh, this laptop sucks. What's a... Oh, I guess it's on. I can get it fine.
Keep an eye, watch for viewers showing up. Get into the interweb.
0 viewers. No.
Jade.
We got 1 viewer.
Greetings, program. Welcome to Live with Drunkards and Dragons. It's live, so we can't put in the post-process reverb echo effect that we normally do. Hang on, let me turn down the music. There we go. We're just listening to a little flamenco to get warmed up. Welcome to our live show. We have reached 1,500 subs in, what has it been, 5 months now? Almost 6 months. So thanks everybody for subbing, checking out the stuff. We've got Twigs back here, the local IT druid. She is going to be monitoring the chat channel, so please holler, and she'll let me know if anything is relevant. Tonight we are drinking beer out of the damn jar. Nice to have you. So have a sip of your beer, and we've also got what unfortunately has become the patron beverage of Drunkards and Dragons. It is a really terrible turn of fate that this has happened, but it's Jepson's Malort. It's Wormwood. So every time we have someone say something of awesome enough caliber, we are going to have one of these. Oh my God. Now, Hair Pink over there on Cult Move, he drinks this stuff like water. He had about 8 bottles like 2 months ago, and now he's down to like a quarter bottle. But me, I don't know. I'm not made of that kind of stuff. Here's to you viewers. Welcome. We're going to start off by talking about this new craft crap that I've been attempting to learn how to do. But first, a little bit of Wormwood. Strength, honor, and weird stuff. Ooh, it's like a wet cigar. All right, Hankerin, you're saying you finally got off your dwarvish ass and did your woodland terrain set. So here it is, you guys. We've been in the Underdark for freaking months. 5 levels of character development, basically without ever going to a town. We finally got out, and we're going to be doing some traveling like a normal freaking group. So I had to get around to making some natural terrain. So I did it like any good sculptor would. I did your, you got your little bushes here. So these are your bushes. You got a styro base with pennyweights glued in. So you guys have been wanting to see. I wouldn't call this a tutorial because this is the first time I've done any of this shit. Let's be completely clear right now. Full transparency. So now that I've done it, I kind of learned some things the hard way. Is this how I kind of learn stuff? I got some tips. So we'll get some videos out of how to get this stuff made a little better. Some of it was terrible. But anyways, yeah. So we have a bunch of pennies injected or jammed into the bottoms of the heavier pieces. Same with these guys. They're so tall and thin. There's 7 pennies in the bottom of each one, so it has a real nice tendency to stand on its base. We can use them as walls as well. So yeah, I learned a lot about how to do the cuts a little cleaner and make these a little more modular, you know, where they can kind of sit on their ends or sit flat, and they have kind of flat traversable surfaces for minis. Oh my God, my Lord. So weird. How did that become our drink? The curse. All right, how many people we got, Twigs?
10ish, 9, 10.
Oh my God, it's a party. I've had LAN parties with half that many people, and they were crazy. So welcome, you guys. It's a bit of a one-way Tron stream right now. If we can get Hair Pink to log on, maybe we'll pull him in on his webcam, and he can make some weird chimpanzee noises in the backdrop. So more stuff that I did, man. Here's a fun trick. I don't know if you can see it on the live stream camera there, but figured out how to do this nice trick. Just run some hot glue down the cracks in your stone, and then get your crumbled up green styrofoam, which I know you guys have tons of crumbled green styrofoam laying around. And then you just sprinkle it onto the gluey cracks, and you get these great little guys growing in the cracks. So that worked out. I got my dwarf or my elvish shriny druid ruin kind of stuff going. One guy, it's always impossible to remember usernames. They're like Unicorn Face 279X or something. He said make a hill. So originally I was going to do this as a base for a giant bush, but it's kind of a cool idea. So thanks. This is once again the comments in the videos coming in handy when I'm back at the craft table. So I got a hill, and you can stand some minis on the hill. More pennies in this one. Pennies in the bottom. Good trick there. The reason you're like, the trees are dead, dude. You're killing my buzz. Well, one thing I was thinking, if I had too much canopy, it would just be a pain in the ass. And secondly, I have no idea how to do it. so there's that. You guys probably recognize this is like some of my railway stuff from the Dwarven Mines, but it looks perfect as a fence in this space. Another tip I would say, and I see DM Scotty doing this all the time, is if you use about 5-ish colors, what do I have, like 8 colors, 6 colors, but as you do different sets, you just keep using your janky little $5 worth of paint, you get really consistent colors to all your stuff, so they kind of look like they belong in the same world. So that's cool. These are some of the older pieces, and they kind of, I feel like the colors fit together. So woo! All right, well, it's just the 10 of us here. Is it 11 of us? I mean, our whole D&D group's only 5 people, and that's pretty much the funnest thing we do all week. So yeah, this is gonna be cool. We're gonna do old school travel, you know, where you gotta, you know, take days to go walk through the woods and stuff like that. You gotta have food, and you're like, damn, we need a wagon. Yeah, this is awesome. All right, so another theme that we wanted to do tonight is we reached this like crazy turning point in our PvE campaign, which is we kind of went from Underdark mode to sandbox mode, right? I keep saying that. So also the turning point is 5th level. I got a video coming out that I did last week reviewing this freaking amazing book, Dungeon Crawl Classics. Oh God, my Lord. And as part of traversing from 5th level into the sort of second set of levels, we are throwing out the D&D spell system, and we're going to get into the DCC spell system. I don't know if you guys agree with me, but ye old 5th edition D&D scales like crap when it comes to its math. It's just like you just get way too powerful. It's a classic problem they've been fighting for a long time. It's like they're trying to just sell books and sell products. So they make the early part of the game just way too loaded with stuff. So we saw that problem coming. So not only did the temporal distortion of leaving the Underdark like knock my players down a peg. It's one of my principles. Hey, here's a good, let's get a principle out. I wish we could do live graphics like on David Letterman. So I would be like, a principle of dungeon mastering, and a cool little 3D text thing would fly out. So just use your imaginations right now. Are there 9 people using their imaginations?
12.
There are 12 people. We're at a new high, you guys. We're climbing exponentially. Okay, so I need 12 imaginations to simultaneously conjure 3D text. It's sliding out and it says, principles of dungeon mastering. Okay, this one is made great and laid low is what I call it. So made great, laid low is like your players will love you because you're going to make them awesome. They're going to get the rock feather and the quiver of Alondra or Alona or whatever. They're going to get invisibility potions and strength potions. You're going to give them free heals at the wazoo by eating local plant matter. You're going to give them bonus XP for rolling 20 on a hug roll. Stuff like that, right? So you're going to make them huge. You're going to have legends told of them when they return to town. You know, all the women are wailing because they weren't there. But also, you must lay them low. So as much as you make them great, you must lay them low. So we just went through the laying low, which characters getting really powerful. They could take on like 2 Umber Hulks, an army of skeletons, and 5 Druagar assassins, which are basically Druagar from the book, but with invisibility, bow and arrows, and like a sneak attack thing. Yeah. They could take all this on. Our wizard pulled out a flaming sphere and held the whole skeleton army at bay. So if you guys are familiar with some of my rooms, there's an infinite number of skeletons in the skeleton army. We just see how many spawn every round. So it's just a fountain of skeletons. So it provides a fun puzzle for the players because they can't just brute force kill the skeletons. There's just no such thing as killing them. So they have to create barriers, or they have to, you know, trick them or delay them in some way. Anyways, characters getting uber powerful. So moving into the next phase to keep the story alive, I took away a bunch of their equipment. Like, it's either getting melted by acid spit from phase spiders or pits of acid spit in the Underdark, or they're slipping these crazy jump rolls they keep making. They're like, oh, I'm just going to jump across that huge void. So now, if you're hanging because you failed your roll and you're like, whoa, we'll do a gear roll. And if it's under 50%, we're going to lose one of your items. Like, it tumbles off into the blackness. And then that roll to see which item of yours tumbles off is like, no. So our rogue lost his bow, of all things. So there goes our DPS out the window. And then every time a temporal distortion wave in this big room we were in comes sweeping through, it would knock a point of stat off permanently. Ooh, talking about laid low, man. These guys are hating me. And then finally, at the end of the session, I'm like, okay, the battle's over. You kind of look at your hands, go to maybe cast a heal spell, and suddenly realize, like, you have no idea how to use magic anymore. Boom. So Erich, the rogue, is just like, you can't just take his spells away. He's a wizard. Without spells, he's just like a traffic cone. Well, like how a wizard hat looks like a traffic cone. Okay, so there you go. Made great, laid low. Always apply that to your players. Keep the rhythm alive, or they just turn into demigods and everybody gets bored. And speaking of demigods, how many viewers do we have over there at Twigglebone?
15.
Whoa! Whoa! Woohoo! We just threw another on top of 12, which is a 25% increase, I think. I don't know. That's amazing. Yes, we're at 1/100th of the total subscribership. So if we keep going at this pace, more math will happen in the next hour and a half or so. So I think we're just going to hang out until this beer is gone. I don't know if I can promise I'm going to hang out until this is gone. Anybody making any comments on there, Twigs?
Nope.
It's silent. It's a weird, silent voyeur culture. I'm going to drink to their silence. Honestly, I don't even know what to do on this damn thing. I mean, I go on Cult Moves live event, and it's just chaos. It's just like drunken shenanigans, and people are just saying random things in the chat channel that usually crash things about, like, you know, buttholes, stuff like that. Whew. Okay, so we've gotten through a few things there. Haven't recapped what has happened with the group. I think it'd be a good time. You guys have mentioned, like, film your damn campaign. All I ever see is preparation and come down. I never actually get to see the act. Well, we did make a pact early on that we wouldn't really film that until we could do a bitchin' job at it. So I'm not sure how this camera is looking, but if anybody, like, does our camera look good? This is our first real try with this camera. Do we look all green or something? I mean, this is green, but yeah, so you're not ever going to get to see the first 5 levels of our campaign. You will get to see some stuff as we keep going, probably actually on this board set. Basically what happened is the first group that we were running was a different set of players except the guy who plays our cleric, Florian of the Watch, the Master of the Tower. He transcends both groups. The first group was doing Phandelver, and we got into the house, and it's just getting boring, and I didn't like how that module was written, and so there's that big crack under the house in Phandelver, and that just reminded me of a very like Lovecraftian kind of feel. So we had them do some encounters, and then they all like fell into the crack trying to fight on those rope bridges. And they fell so far that only Florian, the cleric, survived, which is gnarly. They fell way down the Gandalf style, just like. So Florian lands in the bottom of the cave, and there's a little bit of a gap, and this is a different group of players. So that was never planned, but in retrospect, it was really cool. And this kind of leads to, I'm wandering all over the place. Another idea that I want to try, and maybe we'll do a video about it, but which is doing some group crossover stuff, exchanging members with another group and doing crazy stuff like that. It really adds an interesting dynamic. So Florian, who's higher level, falls down the crack. He's somewhere in the Underdark, and there are 2 halflings and a human druid in these ragged cages in this like rat-infested hellhole, basically. So he falls in there, and he's just like, what the hell? Breaks them out because they're clearly like being tortured and stuff. They try to find their gear. All their gear pretty much is gone. They got a couple pieces of gear left. Then they fought their way through the rooms that started the room design series. So there was the gate, and then the rat room, the guardhouse. So they fought through those, jumped down a chute, and then they're like into the more buggy, slimy part of the Underdark. They're even deeper, and that was Flowstone Forest. Corrosion Cave. Then they encountered the Frozen King for the first time. They had no idea who this guy is. He basically just laughed at him and left. It was like a Mega Man sub-boss kind of moment. And they kept working their way through there. They discovered the Umber Hulks. Like there's this tribe of weird Umber Hulks. Like here's one of them. They're marked with this white war paint, and they seem to be mind controlled. They get past this big gate to find safety. Then they find frickin' Drist, Duerden, the Drow warrior with a conscience, in a little town called Deepholm, and he's describing how they're fighting this guy. Hankerin Fernale, who's a dwarven hero of old, is involved, and they need to go recover these swordstone things to banish the evil and find out what's going on. Herpa-derpa-derp, so they go to the Durigar mines, had crazy adventures there, and among other things found a giant stone war golem built into the mountain, and acquired a gem that can control that giant golem. Found their way out of there, barely survived. Florian, once again, he's a lot of stories swirling around this bugger, but he needed to skip a night with us. So we wrote a storyline where he was taken prisoner, and they went and did experiments on him, and we had to rescue him. So that was a side quest. That was totally awesome. Then he came back. And then we got back and like, oh, everything's messed up. Okay, we got to get out of here. Let's make a final push. Rah! So they went up and did this huge battle that we did this last Friday. And that's where all the temporal distortions were. They finally escaped the Underdark. So this amount of story took, since whenever the room design series began, which I think is like early February, sometime around there. So totally awesome. Huge story. So many undertones and subplots, and we have NPCs with us now, and like just a lot of, we had a wagon at one point, it was destroyed, like an Umber Hulk jumped on it and smashed it. We got our goat, who's like our team mascot, was smashed to a pulp by a giant stone fist. We had numerous near deaths, too many to even really count. And you know, actually, now that I think about it, we've never really had a solid death. Well, no, we have had 2 failed death saves before, at least maybe 3-4 times. So you're within 1 roll of death. Anyway, I digress. I guess that's why we're here, just to drink and digress. What do we got on the chat channel?
21. Hold on.
We got 21 people. Woo-hoo-hoo! What? My producer is holding up a finger as if to cast a spell of some kind. What's happening? Sure what that means. What else are we going to do? We are going to talk about. You guys watched Game of Thrones, right? Well, there's a show that's about fantasy and stuff. So I was trying to figure out if you guys noticed for the announcement for the live show. What the hell are we going to talk about? Well, one of the things I wanted to talk about is how I'm going to do sandbox gameplay for my group. I know this is like a kind of a cool topic in RPG land. Hey, don't park there. So what came to mind is that map at the beginning of Game of Thrones. You know, dun, 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 dun. It's like a 20-minute long credits sequence. I thought, ooh, that's a cool way where you could kind of move a piece around or something and track your location in a game world. So let me show you the new idea that I'm working on. Elven Ruins, transport away. No. Oh, whoa, whoa. Okay, here we go. There's the first piece. Riveting entertainment, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you got your tunes going at your crib. That's why we're trying to keep our tunes on the down low, so you can listen to your Croatian breakbeat, deep, funky, techie house trance breakbeats, dubstep, while you watch Dungeons and Dragons, because you're that cool, man. All right, for new viewers, welcome. Glad to have you here. We are growing in viewership at an insane rate. If we're up to 21 by now, it's been 20 minutes or so, right? We're getting a person a minute by my count. Is that right, Twigs? How long have we been going?
About that time.
Ooh, boosh. Okay, why the hell are you talking about Game of Thrones? Well, this is my idea. Check it out. So none of this is painted. So it's actually kind of cool like this, like black and styro colors. But here's the idea. I've got a board here. It's a 10 by 10 grid. Can you see that? Is that on? Okay, cool. It's a 10 by 10 grid with a little border cut. It's not meant to look like a natural scene. It's just meant to look kind of like a chessboard. And then we punched a hole in the center of every square. And then I've only begun. I haven't made my trees yet and my little walls and my rivers and roads. But I made a bunch of little mountains. And each piece, if you can see, has a little popsicle stick that comes out the bottom. And then what you can do is you can stick these little gentlemen in here and make a map. So everybody who watches Dungeons and Dragons played Zelda. I know that because you're badasses. You know how to play D&D, and that means playing Zelda for research. All those old RPGs built their worlds exactly like this. You had squares. This is a mountain square, you know, that kind of stuff. So the idea with the popsicle sticks is that I would, Twigglebone, could you hand me the small gold banner right there? Do the little one? Nice. Thank you. Okay, you guys recognize. So there, we'll use that to represent the party. So I think you guys can see what I'm imagining. Now the reason that I have the popsicle sticks on here is so that you can have this thing over weeks or months as a sense of giantness of the world, and you won't mess it up. So you can track exactly where the players are. See, also I made these little guys. This is just the start, but these are little castle pawns. So you can put a castle and you can kind of track your traveling on this map. I think it's kind of a cool idea. I don't know. Let me finish getting these little gentlemen in here. More compelling entertainment It's Friday night. Time to muck around with D&D. Okay, check it out. So here's Castle A, here's Castle B. There's a road. One of these squares is, you know, a week of travel, something like that. So I need to make a banner with a peg on it, but it would be something like this, and it'd be like, whoop, the players are right there. So at the beginning of a session, it can serve as a dope little 3D reminder of like where we're at, where we're going, where we're trying to reach, and so on and so forth. Like where, you know, there's going to be a pass in the mountains, where the mountains are just too dense and stuff like that. And I think we get the trees in there. It's going to be totally awesome. Make little swamp tiles and stuff like that. And then as the players move, if like reach the edge, then we'll reconfigure the map to make this edge like this edge and continue to explore. So it's like a sort of a window over the world. Pretty dope, huh? I think this is going to be fun. It's like my little chessboard universe world map progress chart thing. So if they're going here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's an 8-week travel there. So it's kind of like, whoa, okay, crap's that far apart. Holy, so if we want to go around this mountain here, that's like 3 weeks of walking. So in each one of these squares, I think what I would translate it to is there's chances of crazy stuff going down. Yeah, wow. So that's it. I think I'm going to call it the world board. And we're working on collating a bunch of the awesome into something. It may take the form of a book. It may take the form of a box set. But we're working on it. So if you guys have ideas of what you really want to see from Dungeons and Dragons, if we could bring everything together, you know, feel free to post on the videos, send me a private message, whatever. We'd love to hear your ideas and desires. Right now, the most popular request I get is definitely just to film sessions of gameplay. So now that we're hanging out live, I feel like you're probably getting a little idea of what it would be like if you were hanging out with our group. These little squares I made as bases for forests. But I ran out of time. So the idea would be, you know, roll on this bad boy. Check these out. These are sweet. What's it called? Hobby Lobby? No, Benjamin Franklin. They sell these suckers like 8 for $1 or something. So I just loaded up. They're just like, what the hell is this guy doing? You guys know about coins. I think I've talked about that one before. Here's our good old friend, the Flame Skull. I think we had an unanswered question at one point, too, about our play box, which is over there and it's too big to move. But we just made it out of 2x2 edging, pine, and then plywood base, and cut black felt to fit the inside and then stained it. So it's really easy, whoever asked that question. The trick that we realized after we made the thing is make it the right size. We made ours a hair big, so it makes our table feel a little smaller than it really is. So know your table size. We didn't, and things will never be the same. Look, that's the giant. It's Yggdrasil. Yeah. So hey, there we go, man. We're into it. We're smack in the middle of this live broadcast now. Twigs, please tell me somebody said something. No one said a freaking word. What? Something's wrong?
It's fine.
We might be having technical difficulties. All of this might just be beaming straight into nowhere. We still got 21?
16. Oh,
we lost viewers on that last segment. It's because we don't have 3D flyover text. Without that, this isn't the Letterman show. All right, well, we're going to keep on hanging out. And just pray someone shows up and has something obnoxious to say. So alone. So terribly alone. Another thing we did as part of this transition is we have numerous crises in our group, and I just set an open question to the group what they wanted to try to solve. Hankerin has been kidnapped. I think all of this was in my Woodlands video.
Anyway, since then, the group has been talking a bunch, thanks to Erich, our rogue. He's been kind of leading the discussion about how to solve some of our bigger story problems and how to get a base of operations going. I don't know about you guys. Have you ever successfully gotten the party to create a base of operations and it was cool? I don't think 5th level is nearly high enough, but like 8th, 9th is definitely high enough to have like a tower or a small fort, and then have some people working there and be producing some product. Like these guys want to grow a little Healy garden. Pretty awesome, but I've never quite had a group that was calm or smart enough to do that. I think all my groups have always been very Conan-like, so it's just like not really the type to settle down. Get married, have a few goats, have children with those goats. Beautiful, beautiful little goat children. Now where are we at? That had to get it up to 17.
You did.
Come on, goat children. If you're out there and you can see this transmission, please type an asterisk on your keyboard. I get the feeling we are transmitting to Saturn. And there's no people on Saturn. Only ammonia freezing into flying crystals of death. I think. Or maybe it's like liquid nitrogen or something. It's bad, whatever it is. Okay, well, let's get rid of the old world board here. Look how cool this thing is, man. Put it right there. And let's hope some people show up. Yada-dee, yada-da. What do the other guys do on their live show? Twigs, do you have any idea?
No.
No? Thank you. I don't know if I've ever really, I think they have so many users and viewers already, they're all like just trying to keep up with the chat feed. But we don't have that problem here because this is the weirdest thing of all time. It's just bizarre. I would suggest that we play a dice game between the viewers and me. We had a game called Setting the Tone, but you really need to be here and drink to play that game. We have evolved our dice to track hit points system. There's the next topic. Man, we could really go over like a ton of the fundamental principles of dungeon mastering 3D text. So when we have a mob on the board, mob please. Dwarf versus cleric in a battle to the dead. Here, let's battle them on a piece of ruins. I'll kill you, you stupid irrelevant. You example person, okay? So he does some damage. I did 6 damage to him. So we'll put one of those on the board. I'll be like, I did 3 damage to him. We'll put that there. This way, I never have to, as the dungeon master, especially if I have a lot of mobs going, I never have to write down how much damage has been done. It's critical. It's in my basics video. Peep game. Yeah. All right. So then they do some more damage. They got 12. And then they're up to 14 damage. He misses, so no more dice. Here's where I've evolved. So the old way I would do it is you got to know the hit points of the guy. So let's say this is a Druigar, and he has 47 hit points. So I would have that written down somewhere. I'd have my monster manual, which I always have with me, open so that I would know, okay, it's 47. And then it's 14 and 47. And then here, this goes up, and herpaderm, and okay, well, I'm almost to 47. And great. No, screw it. It's too many things to look at. I know that sounds like not much to look at, but for the pace of dungeon mastering that I like to do, that's just too many things to look at. So they're doing damage. What I'm writing down for my guys is a damage category. So let's say that he had 47 in the book. That would be, in my mind, a category of 8, because 8 times 6 is 48. So once he has 8 full dice on the table, like this, he's dead. This is kind of awesome because it gives characters, the players, a visual health bar of how much damage needs to be done to that type of bad guy And then once he's dead, this is all gone. Come back to my dice pile, which is why I keep my box. And he's dead. So then when the next one goes, I will avenge my fallen example, brethren, and they start fighting him, they see the dice stacking up, and they know that on that 8th full dice, they take him out. So it's a lot like seeing a health bar in a fighting game, only it's on the board. So it works really well. If I could, I would have an actual little health bar. You'd be like, ooh. Because nobody wants to do the math in their head like, oh, that last guy I think was 47, and I think we've done about 20 damage stuff. No, screw that. You want to know right when a guy is on the brink, just like in a fight game. It changes your tactics. This was the only good rule they had in 4th edition was the bloodied rule. But that aside. So the next time they're fighting this guy, they get up to this area, and they don't know his exact amount of hit points, but they know that if they can fill that last dice, they get the work done. And it's awesome. Really works well. So that's why when you go to Benjamin Franklin, at least for me, I buy tons of D6s. Now you're probably asking, why don't you use D10s or D6? It's something you can use a lot less things. And I don't know why. It just doesn't work out. Nothing is as fun to use as D6s. They just feel more like a game. I mean, this might be heresy. Everybody loves these things. Everybody loves polyhedral dice. But I got to tell you, I don't think any dice are as cool as a D6. And I think that Dungeon World understood this, and they put that to use with their game. They just said nothing is quite as satisfying as 2 cubes, rolling 2 cubes and adding it. It's just enough mind play. Whereas this D20 is great, but it leaves a little bit out as far as your mind. It's a little more like a slot machine. Whereas somehow the 2d6 feel a little more like the odds are more interesting. I don't know what I'm talking about, but definitely try this, you guys. Track your hit points like this, and then as a DM, just come up with damage categories. So let's just say these are both 3d6 or damage class 3, whatever, however you want to describe it. And we go into battle here. They're both doing d6 damage. And they both have 10. Well, now it's too easy. Both have 15 armor class. So cleric goes first. Misses. Dwarf. Crit. So he rolls 2d6. 5 damage. See that? So, like, how easy that is. That's great. Cleric's turn. 18. He hits. Rolls damage. 1. Take the 1. That's the damage on it. Dwarf goes. Hit. Damage. 2. That's 7, so that's a 6 and a 1. So that's when you start needing a little more time. All right, cleric goes, 12, misses. Dwarf attacks. Oh, misses. Florian attacks. It's an 8.
Whoops.
Oh, I think I hear the past or the future. Dwarf misses. Florian hits. Damage. 5. He's got 1 full dice now. Ooh, it's getting interesting. Dwarf hits, rolls damage. Ooh, maximum. That's awesome because of how easy it is to put that on the board. Florian misses. Dwarf goes again. Hits. Damage. 1. So now we've got 2. We have 14 damage. He's only got 4 hit points left. Florian attacks in desperation, bleeding from his kneecaps. Maximum damage. Ooh, he almost equalizes the odds. The dwarf runs forward. Misses. Florian braces on his back foot. Rolls at advantage for not moving. And, ooh, hits with 15. 2 more damage. Oh, shit. It's an exact tie. Okay, so what would a dwarf do? Well, he goes for the bum rush to shove him off the back here. Strength competition. This one's the dwarf. 18 versus 2. He wins. He shoves him down and attacks with advantage. Oh, a 7 and a 2. He misses. Florian attacks with disadvantage. Reaching upward. Misses. With advantage. The dwarf. Nat 20. Double damage, and it's enough. He slays Florian the Florist. The Tower of the Watch has fallen. The master of the tower has fallen. Okay, there you just got a sense for about how we'll rock. a freaking battle.
Viewer
Boom!
says, drink beer, we got chat.
Who says that?
Your viewers.
So someone says drink beer. We have chat functioning. Okay, we will drink beer, but we have been waiting for the first. Is that the first chat comment?
Nope.
Drink
We are
beer.
way behind.
Oh, things are happening.
Yes.
Okay, so
It's been happening.
we just had a little bit of a technical malfunction. We are new here. So here's to you. How many do we have, Twiddle Bone?
We have 21.
Oh, we're back to 21. It's blackjack, baby. It's aces up. So good to have you guys. For those of you joining, every time something awesome happens in the chat channel, I'm hitting me Jeppy. So you guys know about Jefferson Malort, the unfortunate patron beverage of Dungeons and Dragons.
Drink.
Here's to you. Skål. Oh God. It tastes like I don't know. It tastes like something that would be in Legend. Like a bit of foxcloth and a bit of spearmint would be nice, huh? Woo! Got to wash that one down with a Coors Light because that tastes like living hell. Hey, there we are. Okay, Twig's just set me up so that I can see things. And we've got Jordan Moore's shots. You gonna show your nips? Well, I don't know if there's enough time. There's just so many of them. Okay, success, splash. Malort boys, yeah, Christopher Jacob. Hey man, you got some Jeppy over at your house there? Hit it up, join the fun. It tastes absolutely horrible, but you start getting used to it after a while, and it's not that good for your stomach. Oh crap, we've got the creator of Volgar the Viking in our chat channel from Crazy Viking Studios, the incomparable Derschmidt. Greetings, welcome dude, welcome to Drunken and Dragons. So that's cool. If you guys haven't played Volgar on your Xbox or your whatever the fuck, get out there and get that damn game and suck at it just like I do. Nice to have you guys. Well, there's just it's too much to read here. A native of Chicago. Oh my God, Die by the Die. What's up, dude? Cool name. It gets better. The first shot's the worst. Give me some Jeppy. You know, I gotta agree. The first shot is fun because you're like, shoes. But it's a lot like a good cigar. The way that it kind of you get used to it. Like I don't know. I will be drinking, but Guinness. Guinness for strength. Way to go, dude. Where did you get your armor? The armor. Wow. Well, you ought to see this thing is just beat to shit. I've been getting it from numerous sources on Amazon, but the prepackaged sets are really crappy, and so I've been trying to just assemble a set. So Red Sky Trader, I think, is one of them. Armor Masters, I think, was one, and I can't remember where I got the Barbute. And then I have a bunch of other Renaissance gear. I used to work at the Renaissance Fair. That's probably actually not hard to believe. I used to work at the Renaissance Fair in Colorado, and so I have a bunch of leftover, like, you know, if you're gonna have a good armor setup, you need like 18 belts. Here comes a D12. Oh, I got a 1. What does that mean? Oh God, Judge Western, what am I doing? Am I rolling for lameness? Because if you roll a 1 on a lameness roll, you're totally awesome. Just gave you a tweet. I don't even know what is that a Twitter ID? Do we have a Twitter page? Is it called a page? Oh, okay. Well, now we got some momentum here. Can I see all the stats and stuff over here? Did you still play first edition? Oh wait, do you still play first edition or second edition D&D? From Jacob Pessina. Hola. The answer is, as a game system, no. By the way, that's a cool question. We have talked a lot about playing vintage RPGs, like TMNT and GURPS and stuff like that. The answer is no, Jacob. We don't play it as a game system, but where is it? Yeah, I do get these whenever possible. These are the old AD&D modules. Of course, this one is legendary, you know, the Tomb of Horrors. It's just like a total troll thing. But there's a ton to learn in these, namely like how to be really mean to your players, and also I think a good sense of the roots of how the visual communication would work back in the day, which is there's a lot of visual aids to help people understand the adventure. And I think that's really critical. And theater of the mind is really cool. I'm a big fan of theater of the mind, but you can't get so into it that you lose track of how cool, awesome fantasy art is. So that's my answer on that one, dude, is we don't really play first or second edition D&D, but you know, if you don't have this book, you're not playing D&D. So it's, the old stuff is definitely a huge influence on how we play. I mean, that's why I'm always all about Umber Hulks and Carrion Crawlers and all the old classics, Illithids and Undead Beholders and crap like that. Okay, what is this? Quick question. Use the D6 tracking method when you have 5 or 6 mobs. Seems like that would get crazy. No, it's totally awesome. Let's get an example going here. Twigglebone, could you hand me the giant slab of stone there? It's right to your... Yeah. Giant slab of stone! I just Naruto'd that shit right into existence. Okay, so let's say we have a bunch of rats attacking Florian. We'll just do it this way. So I won't use... Well, there's 2 answers to your question. One is like, yeah, we got a bunch of mobs, right? So let's say we have several minis like this. Okay, then each one is being tracked with damage dice like that. That's what you're saying. Doesn't that get crazy? Dude, I don't know about you, but this is way less crazy than me trying to do it in a notebook. So definitely not. It's great. The second trick that we'll do is we'll actually use the dice as, oh shit, we Jeppy. I knocked it over. Ooh, everything's gonna smell like my lord. That's so gross. Of all the things that the world could smell like, it smells like wormwood. I got things right here, rocks or twigs, trocks, twocks. Anyway, the other thing we'll do is we'll just use the dice as the goddamn mobs. So like if you have a rat with 6 hit points, you just use 1 dice, and when it reaches 6, you know, nice. That's a good damage control. When it reaches 6, he's dead. So no, it doesn't get crazy. It's totally badass. Do you play encumbrance rules? My DMs were nasty little hoarders and dropped some encumbrance rules on us. Well, if you're joining in and weren't here a little bit earlier, we were talking about made great, laid low, which is my principle of like lift the players up and push them down. I don't really mess with encumbrance rules. I think my characters self-enforce. They self-enforce those rules. I take a different approach. If I sense that they're turning into nasty little hoarders, I will build more mechanics that will strip them of equipment. So I'm mean like that. We ended up dumping all our shit outside a cave entrance just so we can move at speed. I think that's cool. It's like you're like outlaws that dig a hole and put like the money and the guns in there. I think that's a cool part of the game. So if you need encumbrance rules to get that into the game, great. And if you need DM cruelty to get that into the game, great, but you definitely do not want to become like a walking S-Mart. That's not cool. It should be really sweet when you get a wagon, you know? You're like, thank God we finally have a wagon. Yeah, love the art in the AD&D Fiendfolio, hell yo. Love your work, mate, says Ryan Connell. Thanks, dude. I'm getting there. Milord Emergency. The Technotron. What is happening? I'm a big fan of science fantasy like Thundar the Barbarian. Ah, yes. I love the Shattered Moon on that show. Although Ukla the Mock, come on, seriously? Is like rode on a big rubber horse. That was just weird. Is there a good system out there like that show? Guns, magic, sci-fi. Yeah, you're basically talking about like Frank Frazetta sci-fi or pulp sci-fi, John Carter's type stuff. Ray gun, scimitar, insect men on Mars kind of stuff. The best system I ever played for that type of play was definitely GURPS. GURPS is such a great genre masher. It works awesome. So if you're going to really get into that kind of genre and you want to really take it at face value and go for it, I would recommend getting some freaking GURPS on, and that let you build technology as well as building a little bit of magic. A lot of people don't like GURPS because it's just like D6 land. It's just shitloads of D6 rolls, kind of like Shadowrun was like 50d6, you know, but in GURPS it's all 3d6. I just think it could be conducive to the mindset you're going to need to get the genre going. If it were me, I would probably bag GURPS right off the bat, and then maybe get into probably use Dungeon Worlds mechanics to run a pulpy world like that. But that would be really fun. It'd be hard to tell what the tropes would be in that world, like gorilla men and like chicks in bikinis and stuff. Thanks for the question, though. Get your work done. Go make a campaign that's like for Frazetta painting. That's a freaking bitchin' idea. Geek and Sundry had a show. I forget the system. Will Wheaton demoed it. Yeah, I don't know. Grungnack. Oh, there's Ice Spliced. Hey, man, I see you putting up comments all the time. Nice to see you in there. I don't want to feed the hype beast. Rifts, yeah. Rifts is a pain in the ass to play. I don't know about you guys, but I love the concepts of ley lines. I loved how they did cybernetics. Their world was hella dope. For its time, that artwork on the cover was like hella killer, like the airbrushed chrome stuff. But I don't know. Contemporary, I would never play Rifts. That system to me was silly with all the physical damage reduction and all that. Blah. Green chicks in bikinis. Yes, there you go. That's actually a root concept of your Frazetta pulp sci-fi campaign. So here's to you guys. I don't know how many people are watching. I'll figure that out soon. But you're all awesome. The skull commands shots. So score, skull. Here we go with another Jeppy. Oh yeah.
26.
Oh yeah. We're up to 26 viewers. Can we get both the view and the thing? Can we minimize this one and then we can see both? That would be awesome.
We're so bossy.
Yep. Well, hey, this is a professional production. Ooh. Ah. Okay. Well, for those of you who weren't there in the beginning, let me bring the new project back out. Is Dershman still in there, Twigs?
I think so.
Great.
I haven't
That's
seen
cool,
him.
man. Nice to have you in there, Deutsch. All right, guys. Here's the Woodland set that I've been working on. Now with 40% more trees. And yes, that's a freaking stick that I found in my yard. If you're thinking like Hankerin Fernail, that looks like a Garam stick. It is. All right. Marvel superheroes. Wait, I can't. I was a barbarian in Ravenloft and I went berserk and killed everyone in my party. And then I fell off a cliff because I was drunk. That's a hell of a story, bro. Everyone in Ravenloft fell off a freaking cliff. You didn't have to be drunk to fall off a cliff. It's a Dracula classic trope that someone has to go like slow-mo falling backward into a river. It just happens in every Dracula story. The deep ones. Okay, whoa. Oh, sweet. Sounds like Cyrus Draken is over there hanging out in Volgar Land. I think they're doing a Nintendo Friday right now, so every other Friday they play the shit out of their SNES games because life is awesome that way. Because we're adults and we do whatever the hell we please. That's the real reason. 100% more whimsy. Yip, beep, beep, beep. No, I can't. I'm not going to. Fuck that. Fuck that comment. There's no whimsy. This is a very serious freaking show. These are miniature trees. We are not fucking around. This isn't whimsy. This is art. Ooh. Man, we're 4 shots of Jeppy in right now, which for hair pink, that would be like breakfast. Have you ever played Warhammer, or have you always just enjoyed making landscapes from Jason Coutinho? Well, that's the funny story there is I have no idea what I'm doing. This is literally since Drunkards and Dragons started, this is the first time I've ever done this crap. I mean, I've been playing D&D since the dawn of time, but I have never done any of this stuff. So it may look like I kind of know what I'm doing, and that is a total illusion. I am clueless. I know that Warhammer players, get some really dope terrain going for their games, just because it makes the mechs look really cool. They tend to have like crazy mini collections. I've seen those guys play, and that's all really cool. I was never into any of that stuff. I just never got around to trying it. We had a store called White Dwarf back in Boulder, Colorado, where they had those huge boards and you got to use a stick to move your little guy. And I always thought that's pretty dope, but it kind of smelled weird in that room, so I didn't really go in there. I've never been into D&D, but you make me want to play. Yes, then go do it. Go play D&D. It's pretty cool. A great way to warm up if you haven't played D&D is just get like 2 of your buddies, get some drinks in you so that you just relax and don't worry about it so much, and just invent a dice game where it's like a dwarf versus an elf. That's the great place to start. Get comfy with the shit. I can't figure out why the hell all role-playing books start with character creation. You can't create a character when you don't even know what the hell it is, like what role-playing is. So I recommend sitting down and fucking around with dice and yelling insults in Dwarvish, you know. You're gonna buck you I'm gonna click at your biggie. That kind of stuff. My wife wants to know if you have a table with a bunch of broccoli. Broccoli would look a little cooler, actually, but I worry that the broccoli would rot and smell terrible. So this is moss, not broccoli, you broccoli troll. What would it take to get a piece of autographed D&D prop Hankerin? What does that mean? Oh, that's like an autographed prop. Okay, well, hey, this is cool. Great question there, Jordan Morse. That's kind of what I was asking. I'm thinking about maybe putting something together that I could get to my viewers. What should it be? Like, you don't want just one thing. It's just like, here, I'm going to send you this. Grass. You have one piece of gray styrofoam. Okay, woo, man, am I cool? No, it's got to be cooler than that. Like, right now, I think a book would be really dope. Like, to catch all the stuff. But also, like, killer box sets of this stuff. That'd be pretty cool, right? I don't suck at it that bad. Or maybe one of these guys. This is like the lowest resolution light bright you could ever hope for. Okay, what would it take to get a piece of, wait, that's the last one. Is there, you can't, oh, this is a different guy. Is there a character with a legacy you have played or had in one of your games? A legacy? I'm not sure I understand what you mean. What does a legacy have to do with anything? Please explain there, Jason. Have you ever played Chainmail? No, I've heard of that. That looks pretty cool, and I have no idea what's happening. Mad loot, kid. Mad loot. Okay, now I'm catching up a little bit. So I agree. Role-playing is the best thing to learn when it comes to these types of games. Yeah, I mean, I hear you, Big Craft. It's not even necessarily role-playing to me. Our group kind of role-plays, but in all the groups I've been, the limit of role-playing is basically like making decisions that your character would and occasionally saying dumb crap with a weird accent. So it'd be like, every once in a while, someone does some tropey-ass accent, you know, like, have at thee, heathen. But it's not like they talk like that all night, thank God. Box sets, says John Reeves. Yeah, would that not be dope? What I can't figure out is, like, how would I make more than, like, 2? I mean, this is difficult shit. Well, it's not so much that it's hard. It's just you put it off a lot. There's a big difference between actual difficulty and frequency of procrastination. Hell yeah, Booker character piece. That would be. Oh, okay. Jordan Morse. We're having a little conversation tea party here. Oh God, it's getting hard to pour the Malort. What? I find it hard to, as a character, do. Oh, I see. Okay, Jason. Yes, we have had that. Hankerin Fingernail is one of them. We had another character named Squiggy Stone Toe of mine that was like a little chaotic pyromaniac goblin guy, and he got smeared and just totally killed, and they carried his body around for like months, and he became kind of a, I don't know, like a martyr. But we also just include famous figures from D&D, like we'll have Elminster in our campaign, stuff like that. When other people try to use your, oh crap, I missed your comment there, Derschmidt. I have a tiny window that I'm seeing. Let me see if I can, I don't know if I can scroll up there. Can we grow my chat view on the left there? No, not that way. Grow it in height. Oh, okay, that's good enough. Just do that. Yeah, nice. Ah, help! Max Headroom moment. Fly swatter spanking. Okay, we got technical difficulties again. We shouldn't have touched it. Oh God, why did I do that? I just took a sip of Malort instead of a shot.
The whole chat room thing just threw me for a loop. What's happening over there, Twigs?
It's loading.
It's loading. There's so many users watching this incredible content that the interweb is freaking out. Okay, so anyways, legacy. Yes, that's definitely happened. What was the other question? Damn, can't remember. It's all happening too fast. The Malort just is not making this any easier. Hello, on the hill. On the hill. That's entertainment right there. These are cool, I'm telling you. Like, every good forest needs druid elvish ruins like this, where they have these like circular cuts in crenellated stone ruins. It's kind of awesome. I'm excited to get these guys in here. Maybe we'll get some spiders or some crap to jump out, or we can have like the fucking Triceratops is right here. Triceratops has like 4,000 hit dice, and that's okay. Whew, man, you guys are wearing me out with all. Are we back up yet? All right, let's see what we got. Put the computer next to the bushes. All right. When you DM, what kind of notes do you have? I missed, Dershman, I'm sorry, I missed your comment. You're going to have to put it up again. Grimtooth is fucking awesome, Jacob. I love those books. Are you, when you DM, what kind of notes do you have in front of you, and how closely do you follow them? That's a cool question. I put up a video called DM's Tome Exposed. Please go watch that. I show you every page of my book. When I'm DMing, I have less than even what you see right now. I have my trusty dice box here, which is very useful. And then I have my monster manual. And I have my leather notebook. My leather notebook, we usually have 1 or 2 pages for a whole night. So I think actually that's one of my like principles that I mentioned is if you can't fit your night of gameplay on a page or 2, you're probably making your shit too complex. I would get the most use out of a book. Box sets would be cool as well. Sweet. Good to hear that, Big Crap. Whack them with a god hammer. Do you have an advice for problem players? Man, that's a tough question. You know, because a lot of times, like, those are your buddies. Those are your friends. So, yeah, it's going to be weird. I think for me, with a problem player, we'll try to work the game really without mentioning to remedy the problem. So if you have an over-aggressive player, you kind of knock them down a few pegs and encourage other players, and you indirectly try to solve the problem. Sometimes if you just have weird chemistry in the group, I think it's a bigger problem than a problem player. Like if you have some guy who's always killing the NPCs and like undercutting the goals of the group, that can be a group breaker. That can make you actually end the campaign group and go form a new one and try to get a better group. I'm a real believer in all the members of a party being friends and role-playing friendship and none of this working against each other crap. I know some groups, they kind of get a kick out of that, but that's not for me. I want to see a live D&D with you and Cult Moo. I know you already did drinking games, but I want to see it live. I think that's a great idea. We're definitely going to do it. We're going to run like a cool little module with those guys. So that'll be coming. Are you considering writing a book? It kind of sounds like you're leaning that way. Very cool. That's a good question, Reeves. Actually, I just finished my next fantasy novel. So we are working on how to release that. We know we're going to put it on Kindle and iBooks. And we're probably going to be releasing some excerpts on the channel. It's an awesome kind of pulpy fantasy novel called Mud and Horn, Sword and Sparrow. So it's in the proofreading stages right now. So I've got some people proofreading it for continuity and all that good stuff. And you're going to see that coming up. And then, yes, we have Drunkards and Dragons, the book, is going to be coming. So we have not quite figured out our whole plan, but it's going to be awesome. We're going to try to use all of the stuff to make all the art for the book. So I think that's going to be really sweet. Addition, Jason, how would DM handle players with min-max and they don't role play?
you either need to directly end that behavior or kind of they shouldn't be in the group. Min-maxing is the worst thing that can happen in the game. Now, if you have a rogue who's going for high damage here and there, that's cool, man. That's all good. Use the rules to your advantage. But in general, just not having any soul to your character and then doing some like crazy amount of damage or something, screw that. That's so annoying. It wrecks the game. You made me go get a leather notebook DMing. Thunderfist. Nice, dude. It's so much better because it keeps you in world while you're looking at your DM's notes. And you guys know I absolutely abhor the GM's screen. I think it is the wrong direction. It separates you. It takes away the gravity of your dice rolls as the Dungeon Master. You got to do those in front of everybody, man. Now, I can understand using a small screen in case there are secret rolls for select players or you're doing some more subtle mechanics in your game. But, yeah, man, leather notebook keeps you in world, makes you feel like an alchemist. And also, like the other players, you're visually fun for the other players. So I think that's really cool. No one evil ass in a party of good characters. Yeah, exactly. Publish that shit. I'm working on it, dude. When you have a favorite set of dice other people keep using, when it's yours, just to cut armpit farts before you roll with the dice in your head. No one will mess with them. Yes, that's fantastic. So you mean basically like my dice? My dice. Boosh. Although licking a dice is like eating a dollar bill. I don't recommend it. May I proofread your book? iSpliced. If you would like to be a proofreader, please send your Gmail address, which we're using Gmail to do proofreading. Please send your Gmail address to the Hankerin@gmail. And I will hook you up as a proofreader for Mud and Horn, Sword, and Sparrow. You've got 2 weeks to finish reading it and get back to me with your notes. Die by the die. Going to bed. Thanks for all your content. Keep up the good work. And don't let the Jeppy get to you. Well, it's too late, dude. This stuff's weird. You take 4 or 5 shots of this, you feel strange. So, hey, good to have you die by the die. Thanks for stopping in. Sleep tight and don't let the monkey face bite. Jason Coutinho, can you suggest some cool settings that might be fun to try? E.g. the midnight setting. I'm going to date myself when you're asking me that shit. There's 3 that I think are the all-time dopest. First is Forgotten Realms, by far. Forgotten Realms is the shit. I know it's old school, it's played out, but damn, it is good. It makes a lot of sense. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Second one would probably be Dark Sun. So, like, whoa. Does anybody even know about Dark Sun anymore? Do a little bit of homework. I think Dark Sun is really dope and underplayed, and people really excited about discovering the weird stuff in Dark Sun. And then third, got to be Ravenloft. Ravenloft is sick. It's really easy to get the tone into the characters, and it's awesome. How often have you had a total party kill? We have had 2 insane close calls with party kill. No, actually 3. So we'll have 3 players incapacitated and only 1 up with very low hit points and no hope. To me, that's within 1 roll of a TPK, and I think we've had that 3 times. But, you know, we also don't use freaking GM screens. So if it comes down to 1 roll and I'm the DM and, like, we're rolling it, if it's what we say it needs to be, that's a total party kill. We don't talk our way out of anything. So we haven't reached that point yet, but damn have we come close. The Purple Worm almost completely took us out. Flowstone Forest almost completely took us out. Like, fighting 2 Umbra Hulks at the same time is no small thing. How do you spell Hankerin Ferinale? No, it's Hankerin.Ferinale. So good luck. My email address is on the YouTube channel. At Gmail, yeah. I want to chill with your ass, dude. Well, you're getting the upper torso. That's all you're going to get tonight. Half dwarfs for life. Whoa, I don't know anything about that. I like pure dwarf myself. Ravenloft, yeah, fuck yeah. iSpliced. That's what's up. Ravenloft is cool, not just because it's vampires, and it's important that not to think of it that way. It's way more. It's fucking Underworld, only the sequel where they're in the old times, and that is a really rich world with a super tasty flavor. And the thing I like about the flavor, it's kind of scary. and it keeps people on their toes and feeling like I could die at any moment. Something about Thundar and like Frank Frazetta type fantasy, you don't feel that danger. So I don't know. Psionics, you're fucking crazy, dude. I hate that shit. It gets too out of control. It would be cool to have like a Firestarter type character, like the old movie. What was her name? Drew Barrymore. She's like 8 years old, and it's a Stephen King thing, Firestarter. That's cool, psionics, but generally psionics it's just like spells that go bonkers. Okay, we're an hour in, you guys, and we got like 473 viewers. Actually, I have no idea how many there are. 3 of the best. Yeah. Have you ever thought about making your own setting, and what was the inspiration? Pale Knight, thanks for the question. Hell no, I don't think about making my own setting. I freaking do it. Every campaign that I've done has been a handcrafted setting. And then I will use other stuff. So I'll use Forgotten Realms to give myself a lot of that richness without doing it. But you guys know my philosophy, man. It is not about like big backstories and crap. It's about the night-to-night experience creates the world. So that's why you guys see me focusing on rooms and like spaces like this. You know, this is world creation to me. And then telling the story of who built these and why this one is broken and what is this woods and what's going on and stuff. That to me is the world, rather than like, you know, big overblown backstories that don't necessarily connect with the players. So tips on making combat more interesting. Oh, hell yeah, dude. This is my specialty right here. This is from old Jay Crosby. Yeah, dude, use timers in your battles. Timers are giant, undefeatable threats that are pushing in on the players. Use spawners instead of fixed amounts of characters. If there's a spawner, the players have to be way more intelligent. If they know there's just like 2 bugbears, they just kill the 2 bugbears. Another one is make the terrain usable as both a healing and damage source. Another one is make a room challenge level. So every single challenge check for strength, dex, saves, poison gases, perception, everything is against 1 number in a room. So like this room right here would be 16. Every roll we do is 16. Fuck modifiers, fuck a bunch of random numbers, just use advantage and disadvantage and a room challenge. What do you think about using Fate? Fate, I haven't gotten there yet. Give me some time, I'll get the Fate book and we'll talk about that. It looks pretty cool. I just don't know anything about it, so sorry about that. Is there a good way that you found to introduce horror into your campaigns? Oh, hell yeah. We had a little bit of a moment in the Underdark where we realized, can you hand me a chunk of flowstone there, Twigs? We realized that what we thought was stone is actually these hollowed out corpses of some kind of alien race. And when these hollowed out corpses are burst, they're filled with baby spiders and they climb all over you and stuff like that. So you don't, you know, say, okay, horror time. That doesn't work. What you need to do is actually think through horrible things and put them in the game and let the horror happen organically. And I think Ravenloft can help with that. But honestly, it's just a matter of being really imaginative. You know, because like we have a trope in our group which is like fucking Underdark, which is kind of like saying, come on, get me out of here. This whole place is fucked up. Where's the pipe at, Hankerin? I saw in your vid the other day. Oh yeah, the church warden, my hobbit pipe. Those things are great, man. They for smoking tobacco, it's really cool by the time it reaches your mouth. It's like up there on the shelf. I don't do that inside. I'm a normal person. What do you think about dual class? Big fan. You got to realize in our group, we don't do feats. We generally don't do a lot of the special abilities associated with classes. And the biggest thing we don't do is when you level up, you just get stuff for free just because you leveled up. Like spells, they just appear out of the blue. No, you have to go adventure and find them and get them. So I think dual classing in a low fantasy setting is actually really fun and easy to maintain because everything is kept so simple. So if you have a druid, she's getting up and she's, you know, needing a ranger side to her character to fulfill her vision, then let her do some levels of ranger. Just keep it simple. Don't get into all the wacky stuff. Just keep leveling her as a druid. And when she's wanting to get into archery, postpone the druid leveling and give her a couple levels of ranger so she can get something cool like aim shot. An aim shot is just get advantage on a roll for taking an extra round. So you have a 2-round attack and you get advantage on your arrow shot. You know, really simple abilities like that, and then you get the feeling and the vision of being dual class without all the insanity, because it can really get crazy. What's your favorite terrain to play in? Swamps, forests, dungeons. I actually made a few of those, and I'd love to show you what I can make. Nice. Good to hear, dude. Find a way to get it. You can private message me with photos. We'll put them on the channel or something. My favorite, man, I love it all so much, but I've probably just dungeon. I mean, nothing beats the Underdark, man. It's so cool. And just the amount of books and stories that happen in just raggedy stone dungeons like Moria. It's just so dope. But everybody loves swamps and forests and peaks and fortresses and stuff like that. That's a tough question. I'm not sure on the details. Pipes. Dual class is leveling 1 class at a time. Yes, indeed. So while you're building out your fighter, your mage has to wait. This is the most classic controversial dual class is like, I'm a fighter wizard. You're a jerk. So that one I wouldn't want in my group. You know, like you can have a wizard with like a dope piece of armor. You could have a wizard with a hat of protection or something like that. That's cool. But no need to be like the 2 prime. I'm the tank and the DPS and a healer. Oh shit, I'm a paladin. Everybody hates you. So, I'm in Molten Core by myself because I'm a troll. Dual classing. I think you stop. Okay, cool. Finally, woo! I got to the end of the comment stream. Oh, woo! I hope you guys aren't tired of just staring at this stupid thing, but I just scrambled tonight to get some of the finish work here done to get the greens to match up. So I'm basking. Oh, I love my creation. What are some of your favorite classes to play? Well, I'm protection dwarf all the way, man. I am a diehard believer in the dwarven lore and flavor, and B, the role of protection character to me is just the dopest. I think shields are the coolest thing. Shields and armor. After that, I'd probably say ranger. Ranger is sick. I just like nature and aminals and stuff like that. What's your least favorite class to play? Woo, great question. Would be paladin, rogue. Probably rogue, actually. I can't stand rogue. It's just too hateful. And just doing damage as your core ability to me just doesn't make a lot of sense. Even when I'm a wizard, I'm not like a damage wizard. I'm much more of a thinking, what you call control, like in an MMORPG, a control class, you know, like a hunter. Very location control and mob control, stuff like that, rather than just raw damage. You're a wizard. Harry Potter is bad shit. I don't like those movies. What is your least favorite class? Oh, do you bother with CR for your monsters or whatever feels right? Quick, everyone asking a question. I totally believe in challenge rating, but I basically still think in challenge rating over the years, over the decades, since the early 80s. Challenge rating has gone through a lot of different math overhauls, but I think if you just have a sense for it, it has stayed relatively consistent. So in my mind, I will generally think challenge rating is double what your highest level party member is. Makes a damn good fight. So this is a great question for people, but you know, how do you do that? That's one of the rules that I use, but definitely use challenge rating. You know, because you got to keep your monster manual open for the group while you're playing, and like them seeing that you're playing right out of the book is an important part of the consistency of the game. I have a friend that's always a mage, but he gets mad because I won't let him use great swords and heavy armor. Yeah, screw that guy, man. Why didn't you roll a damn fighter? What a troll. A cool way to do it would be to get a magical version of those things. You know, send them on a 5-night quest to get him a magic greatsword. What about a social rogue? Yeah, I mean, that would be a sort of a good guy rogue, which would be like Sylvana or something from Warcraft. Is she a rogue? I don't know what she is. She's a hunter? Probably a hunter. Anyway, yeah, you can have that. I think just my experience with rogues, I just never had fun. Spell failure is mean. I couldn't disagree more. I really think that getting used to magic too much makes it like electricity and it gets boring. So there's more to come on that one, Ice Spliced. I gotta holler out at you. The magic is in here on spell failure. I'll tell you what, man. The magic is in this book. This book's amazing. Send me an email and I'll send some pics. No, you send me an email. I got too much going on. For a start with no D&D, how should I get this whole D&D lifestyle started? Woo! That's a gnarly question. Well, first thing you need, dude, is something that I've been blessed to have. That's a couple of good friends that are going to show the fuck up. Man, friends are what this is all about. And if they're in short supply, it can be a tough hobby, I got to admit. It can be a lot more like being a writer, which is cool too. Fucking write. But if you got friends, they want to play, they're bugging you to play, they're willing to come over on a regular basis, and they're engaged in it, and they're having fun with it, man, that's when the magic really happens, because it's a symbiotic relationship. So get at least two buddies who want to get into it. And like I say, that first session is key. Just get your drink on a little bit, like come around the table. You got to have a few toys to play with, some dice, and maybe an idea of what you're doing. And just try, like, fighting each other is a great way to get into the game. It's like my principle that I like to call PvP gas. Like, PvP gas, everybody kill each other. Dwarves have always been my favorite. I play a mountain dwarf wizard. LOL. Yeah, dwarf wizard has always been a pretty trolly class. It's kind of like, I don't care about your expectations. I'm me. And I'm special in my own way. Do you have any terrible botch stories? There are too many to zero them out, but yes, we do, one fumbles like anyone else, and then if you roll a subsequent one, we mega fumble you. Wow, I'm not sure. There's just so many. I'm not sure I can. We've had the classics of like smashing your friend. We've had the classics of losing your weapon, of hurting yourself is the most common one. But, actually, come to think of it, no, the players have never really totally face planted in this campaign, not in recent times. I mean, back in the day, the worst one I ever did is when I got my goblin killed. I just failed a save roll on a cone of cold, I think it was, from a gnome wizard, and took like 40 damage on like a level 2 character. It's just like, fucked. You're done. You're out of the campaign. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll roll a human wizard with a goatee. What races are the PCs in your game? We have 2 halflings who are brothers, Milo Underbottom, the Wizard of the Woods, and Erich Underbottom, or Black Cloak, or Shadow Stepper. He's our rogue. They are the brother to Cade, which is their halfling brother that went into the Underdark, who was eventually turned into an Umber Hulk warrior, and is fighting the curse, trying to turn back into a halfling. Then we have our human druid, Twigs, and we have our elven cleric, Florian, the Master of the Tower, the Lord of the Watch, the Florist. So 2 halflings, an elf, and a human. Really friendly group. It's kind of cool not having a dwarf in the group, too, because when I have dwarves show up, it's kind of I don't know, adds a piece that's not there. What's the hardest thing for me? Getting the whole group of friends together for the game. Yeah. Amen, Big Craft. I think the key is not necessarily like it's a campaign or it's this, that, or the other thing. It's finding a night that's going to work and just starting to get the gathering rhythm going. Just come together. And when that starts not feeling like a disruption, you've got your group. If people cancel and stuff like that, it means that probably the night isn't good for them and they generally have fun that night. But I think Mondays and Fridays are the best ones. A lot of people do Monday night. What's the dumbest way a character of yours has ever died? I'd probably have to say it might be Rocket, our goat. He's like ran out and just got utterly liquefied. That was kind of like, wow, you really ran that thing out into the killing fields? That was brutal. Random question. Have you heard of the book Wizard or Warded Man? Painted Man by Peter Brett. No. It is a deliciously fun read. Awesome. Thanks, dude. I'll try to catch up on that. I hope I can look at this feed later. Have any of your PCs played a monster? Well, our cleric right now is in the process of turning into an Umber Hulk, so that's going to be interesting. We do have an Umber Hulk in the group. He turns back and forth to a halfling. I did have a member of a group once who had a cursed sword with a cloven hoof on the hilt, and it eventually turned him into like a goat centaur thing. And he was fun to have in the group. Like going into town was just a mess with that guy. Yeah, nice. Okay, I think I caught up with the chat line. So time to get back into stuff. Kind of wanted to show you guys how I will do a room before we play. So if I know the gang is coming over and we got a room that night, I will usually have a sketch of kind of some of the basic shapes. And then I basically kind of do what you see me doing all the time on the channel, which is you just get out your toys and start playing with them. So, right, so there's my base, and then I know like, ooh, you know what would be cool is I want to split the players up and bombard them with spiders. So first thing I'll do is get a splitter. So a bush wall with a stone wall attached, and then there's some ruins. And there's like this old remnant of a foundation, sort of, and an entrance, exits. Actually, no, there's no exits. They're trapped apart from each other. So this bush blocks the path here. So there you go. So now I have two sections. See that? And then I'll be like, okay, that's cool. You're definitely going to need a sharp rock. You're going to use this for a line of sight blocker. There's a bunch of sticks over here, and I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, this is kind of shaping up. What else do I need? Twigs, could you hand me the giant spiders? Like, okay, well, maybe there's this weird old banner from an ancient war back here. And we got some spider monsters here. That's enough. That's cool. So I'll start to see the thing taking shape. And then what I can do is, use the spiders or, use some kind of silly mechanic to split the group down the middle of the map. And then we'll have these two battles and maybe burn this bush away, and then the party can reunite, stuff like that. So that's how I design the rooms, is I just sort of wing it as I go to see what's going to look cool and feel right. And, let the players basically do all the creative stuff. Where's that little, oh, it's right here. Need another little rock here. Anyway, what do we got? Do you find that fighters are defined by their equipment? Well, yeah, I mean, that's the idea. The fighter is the equipment scavenger. If your fighter isn't always picking up crossbows and spears and halberds and stuff, then he's not really playing the class too well, is he? I know of a fighter in another group. I think his name is Reginald. I don't know if he's watching right now, but he's like a great sword fighter, and he's been telling me about his leveling process, and it just sounds like they put too many maneuvers on him. Like that, I don't know. I think it's corny. Oh God, that malort is just terrible in your stomach. I think the fighter is coolest when he's a real generic tank, and his gear does become him. I think it's a little dumb to have, woo, and I'm doing the sword dance, and now I'm doing a freaking heroic leap or whatever. I think it's cheesy. I think the coolest fighters are just like, blang, blang, good role playing. How do you deal with doling out magic items throughout the campaign? From Vito Emmanuel. Welcome to the show, my friend. Great question. When we fight monsters right out of the monster manual, I roll the loot tables that monster specifies in the book without question. Sometimes it gets a little crazy, sometimes not. If I make up monsters, I generally do almost no loot roll at all. But my general approach is to very tightly control the use of magic items. We're 5th level, and we don't have no flame tongue or anything like that. So you gotta watch out. Be very careful with doling out magic items because they will make your game get crazy. The skull! Bring forth the skull! I'm trying to do the switches. The switches. Damn my Vulcan bones. All right, cool, we'll do one-eyed skull. The skull has come to the show. Welcome, oh my master. Not so much a welcome because you've enslaved me, but oh God, look at that horrible beer gut shot. That's awesome. Okay. Hey, we're up to 28. Thanks, Jacob, for the report. We're exponentially growing. It's amazing. Okay, somebody said shot. So the skull commands a shot. The skull has arrived. Please, everyone watching the show, could you join me for a shot? You don't have to drink Malort because it's asking a lot, but please join me in a libation to celebrate the awesomeness of D&D played the right way. That's what we're all about here at Drunken & Dragons. By the way, everybody, thank you for watching. Hell yeah. Yeah, I thought maybe we would get to like 500 subscribers or something, but this is fantastic. It's going really well. It's a great time. Skål. Whoa. Oh, God. It tastes like a chalkboard eraser dipped in turpentine. That is bad. It tastes like Frankenstein's toenails. What do we got here? Oh, there's some kind of a devil. Don't do the Heil sign, bro. Like, no, it's when I reach out to you like, boo, I'm making a point. I'm boo, right on your face. Boo, that's not the Heil sign. Roll D20, 10 or less, and you add a deck of many things that must be used in your current campaign. Okay, now we're talking. 10 or less, we add the deck of many things. It's a 7, you jerk. Okay, the deck of many things will be added to the campaign. I have a better version, though, called the Book of Narlotep. We'll do a Book of Narlotep video. It uses a deck of playing cards to draw a page from the book. But great idea, dude. Consider the deck of many things in my group. I will join your libation with a drink of my Guinness. Guinness for strength. Oh, God, Makers sounds so delicious. Hey, Twigs? Could you do a level 2 Conjure Jameson spell for me? And do you also have a Summon Doritos spell memorized? Have you ever incorporated R.A. Salvatore Drow? Maybe you weren't on the show earlier. Gibbs Gaming, welcome. Drist Dordan is actually in our campaign. We met him in the Underdark. Barely surviving in a town where he had made a tenuous alliance with the Duergar, but not with the Duergar, with the dwarves to fight the Duergar curse. So Drizzt has barely survived, and my party is actually dragging him around right now. He's like barely alive. The Drow in general I reserve for really high level characters. Spell casting, swordsmen and stuff, super high powered, so we haven't quite gotten there yet. Console gaming, I got every achievement in Skyrim, and since then I've been a little bit on the relax. I'm playing Darkest Dungeon mainly on computer right now. Lagunitas, nice. Where the, oh look, we didn't even get a bottle of Jameson. We got a skull of Jameson. That will do nicely. Looks like I made my spell check on Summon Jameson. And Conjure Doritos, level 2. Thank you. The deck of many things. Yeah, it's a good time. It backfires quite a bit, and really what it is, it's a genie that opens up DM cruelty. Create food and drink. Yeah. This is no easy thing keeping up with you guys. It's getting hot in here. It's like, it's actually hot in Washington right now, which is just freaking terrible. I want my clouds and rain back. Milo is intrigued. What up, Draken? What are you guys playing over there tonight? Getting your Peacekeepers on? I love that game. Where are the monster loot tables that you mentioned? Your monster manual will specify treasure rolls, and your DM's guide has those tables in it. So you guys know my system. I'm a huge believer in post-it marking your pages in your books. It's critical for fast DMing. So when it comes to all of our loot tables and stuff like that, those are all marked pages. So we get to them real easy. And it's the end of the night, so it's a fun ritual at the end of the night to go through the loot tables. Yes, I spliced is a cantrip to summon Doritos. Have to be a lot of Doritos. Yeah, or even one huge one would be a first level spell. Or like one that you could like send it flying at something. Track and field. Oh my god, that's so dope. The Willow, that game drives me nuts, man. I can never get far in that shit, but track and field, fuck yeah. I hope you have backup controllers. Big Craft, honestly, you're keeping up with chat a lot better than a lot of live streamers that I've watched. Well, those guys are chumps. This is Drunken and Dragons, man. We do it right up in here. I'm not here to play. You think I'm here to phone this shit in? Hell no, man. You guys have supported me like awesome this whole way. So what am I going to do? Like turn on the camera and sleep? Hell no. I'm here for you guys. And I'm here in a world of terrible loneliness with only twigs to comfort me and my Jameson. Hey. Wow, that is a gourmet beverage after drinking fucking Malort. That is delicious. That tastes like the end of Castro's reign. That's how delicious that is. One huge Dorito, yeah. Totally. Conjured, just be like, whoa, it looked like a freaking Star Destroyer. You just see the underside of a Dorito. Man, that makes me want a Dorito. Yeah, you guys are great. I haven't checked the bank account on the thing yet, but I think we're approaching $200. So the deal was when we got $200, we would get a couple more live cameras and we will film the sessions live. This is fun too. I think it's going to be really cool to film live sessions, especially if we're getting drunkets. I think something along as a send a fan package. How would I go about doing said action? Okay. Hey, man, I would love to get a fan package. We have a Drunkens and Dragons P.O. box. So for anybody that wants to send me anything that is a not anthrax or a bomb or like a kaiju skin louse, you can private message me on YouTube and I will send you the P.O. box number and you can get it done. So far, we've gotten some crazy cool shit from viewers, including my Mjolnir pendant that Nolan made. And we got some Malort that is brewing, that we're going to brew up some homemade Malort. We got some weird chocolates. Did we get something else? I can't remember. There's something else coming. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, send me stuff. I like stuff. Twitch. That's just a word with a question mark after it. Oh, wow. Looking forward to the live sessions. Guru account. That's a cool username. What the fuck? Yeah, man, the live sessions are going to be cool, but you guys know my stance. I hate bad D&D videos. I hate them. They're boring as shit. So my vow was we're only going to do it when it's going to be awesome. And I think the way to make it awesome is do cameras like a sports cast. So we need enough cameras that we can switch the cameras around and make it fun to watch. That could be a pretty high level spell. Conjo, oh, complete the compliment of Ed. Wow. Dorito Destroyer. No, it's a Star Doritoer. No, that's not so good. I think a Star Destrito. Yeah. Do you ever play any other games like Magic the Gathering? I played Magic the Gathering when it made sense. So that was about 8 years ago, 7 years ago. Does that sound about right? I don't know. Then there's time travel and like everything got weird. I just played like basic freaking Magic. Pyroclasm, you know, like woo! I got Pyroclasm. I played Magic back when you could have a red deck and actually win. But yeah, then it started to evolve. Twigs is really good at the damn game, and she makes these green decks. I get pwned over and over. Honestly, my will to lose only goes so far. So just like everyone, we have a giant box with a bazillion Magic cards in it that we never play with. But great game. It just, I think it's outlived its era a little bit. I would like it to go away and make room for other stuff. I would love DCC to get the popularity that Dungeons and Dragons and Magic have. I would really like to see that happen for numerous reasons. One of them is that this guy Goodman is OG, and he uses OG artists that have been around for decades that are killer. None of this freaking book full of concept art shit. I know concept art is cool in the video game industry, but let's not have it be all art. It's so incestuous sometimes. Like artists are just imitating concept artists. Stop it. Be yourself. Anyway, Dungeon Crawl Classics, I would love that game to get popular. It's so well written and the art is so cool. Planeswalkers killed Magic for me. Yeah, exactly, dude. Basically antics. It's like, hey, we got a really good game, only sales are starting to slip, so let's add a bunch of dumb shit to it. Twitch is a great live streaming website that most people use. Actually, 2 years ago, I worked at the Twitch booth at E3, for those of you who bumped into me. Yeah, Twitch is cool. Opie. What does Opie mean? Opie-op. I don't know what's happening. Okay, sweet. I caught up again. Nice. Nice to be here. We got 28 viewers right now, you guys. We're growing like kudzu in Pennsylvania right now. Yee-hoo! And I'm just going to keep on drinking. Oh, God. Okay, right when I thought I was done. Could you elaborate? I mean, not done, just caught up. Because it's 10:30. I think we're going to go to about 11:30. Could you elaborate on the world board? Yeah, okay, let's get that back out. Yes, I could elaborate on that. That's what we're here to do. So, teleport world. Ooh, more of a levitate than a teleport. The world board. Let's get this back out. Or the low-res light bright is what we're calling it. Could you elaborate on the world board? It's a cool concept. Where's it going and what kinds of pieces are you crafting? Have your players seen it? My players have not yet seen the world board. The pieces I'm going to make are forest, sort of a swampy, grassy tile, road, and river. And I think that's going to be all I need to get the message across. Maybe a ruin one, because we always have ruins. Ruins are cool. I think this is going to be fantastic. We could kind of be arbitrary. Do I have an arbitrary thing? Like this could be arbitrary. Here we go. This is the group. Boop. There we go. So I think when you see it this way, it's basically a progress meter for my group. You guys know me. I'm all about visual feedback on game progress. I love theater of the mind. It's cool, but the more visual feedback you get on how cool you are and how far you are to your goals, it just makes it so tangible. You can't wait for the next session. So I think when you start to feel this kind of going like this, and then you're like, ooh, we're a little more than halfway there. Yeah, it's really going to be worth it. Especially once this gets painted. I think I'm going to do it all in really vivid red colors, like Dune, like the architecture on Caladan in Dune. What do you think of D&D Next? Well, that's 5th edition, right? It's great. The advantage-disadvantage mechanic is the best thing D&D's ever done because it got rid of modifiers. Modifiers are insanely annoying, pluses and minuses. Fuck those things. Advantage-disadvantage is way better. Inspiration is bloody brilliant. And their math is really terribly designed for anything beyond 5th level. They're trying to sell the game to newer players to make it exciting. They didn't learn, apparently, from 4th edition, which had that problem in spades. It was basically like watching Naruto. It's just a spaz out. So it's okay. Hey, nice. 1 a.m. Thunderfist. Hang with us for another hour, buddy. Get that beer out.
get your DM's book out there and get some cool notes done. This is a cool night to think about. You know, I can let you guys in a little bit on what we're doing. We're heading to the town of Lork. So if you go do your homework on Forgotten Realms, you can find Lork. It's on the Black Road by the Grey Peak Mountains, I think, in the Grey Vale on the Savage Frontier. Blah 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 blah. They're gonna go there and discover some of the edges of this new world. If you remember from some of my other videos, my players have moved 100 years into the future. And a lot has happened and changed, and they need to discover like how bad the situation really is. So it's going to be cool, and this will help us visualize it. So they know they've been, might need a knowledge, blah 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 blah. A vid on how you cut the fortress pieces would be rad. Fortress pieces? You mean these little guys? John Reeves? Do you mean these teeny little ones right here? Yeah, I would definitely like to do some more videos on my carving techniques if I thought that they were awesome. They're definitely getting better. It feels a little silly sometimes doing tutorials because I'm so new to all this stuff, but just definitely doing artwork for 30 years definitely helps with your overall sense of, you know, just self-expression, but my technique is just raw as shit. I messaged you on YouTube about a fan package. Let me know what the deal is. I want to see you set up a really decent, difficult dungeon scene and Skull commands a shot. Damn it. Okay. Jameson it is, because I'm easing up on the wormwood, man. This stuff's crazy. Shit's crazy. Ain't right. Woo! Yeah, hey, who's that John Reeves? Let me show you how it's done. Where's my thing? All right, here we go. Oh God, drunk people with X-Acto knives. You gotta love that. Okay, first thing you want to do is get this sucker out. There you go. I'm just making a cube to get started here. All right, the dog's afraid. Okay, so there's your basic cube block. And, you know, I don't know what the odds of you guys actually seeing this. 1 a.m. drinking and Dungeonmaster notes. That's the plan. Awesome. Big craft. That's where the magic happens. So basically the way you do this little side crenellation technique is you do a prep cut and a prep cut, and then you go all the way down the side at, you know, say a 1/16 of an inch depth. Then you go at a right angle to that cut at the same depth. So if you watch, it will pop out a perfectly cubic piece like that, and you get a perfect little edge cut. So the way that you do some of the shit is like, I mean, it's a lot like stone sculpting, where it's an art of subtraction. You can't add any mass, so you have to think in subtraction. So it's kind of like, how are the forms going to fall off the base form? And how do you use that to create shapes? No problem, right? Are you going to make an overall map that is slowly filled in by world boards? Oh my God, you troll! Ubelio Montero, you are a troll. This is exactly what Twigs asked me. She's like, hey, yeah, and then we could have like 60 of these and have like a giant room-sized world. I'm like, yeah, and then I would be 50 years old by the time I was done. So the dream to do it is definitely there, Ubelio. But dear Lord, do I really have to do that? Is that really called for? I think I'd rather move on to make like an ice board set, or maybe a swamp board set, rather than make a ton of these. That's a cool idea, but come on, seriously, you guys are insane. The thing would be like bigger than a room. Yay, live drunk tutorial. Okay, so let me just keep going for the sake of Reeves's question while we hang out. I mean, you guys know me. It's like, it could be sunny outside, 80 degrees, everybody's floating down the river, and I'm in here doing this crap. So it's a little bit of an affliction, but also it's awesome. Hell yeah, man, I burnt the crap out of my fingers with that hot glue gun. Yeah, so you see, there's the second cut. So see, it cuts out a perfectly square little pillar of shit.
Play a mini game of D&D by yourself, like one room, step by step. I want to see an actual game of this goes down, and I want to play. Get back under your bridge, fucking troll. Hey, your bridge calls. It missed you. How about just a poster drawing? I don't know anything. Oh, a poster drawing of our world. Yeah, that's always a fun idea. Go watch my world map video. That's a big drawing that I did. It's in my book, but that took me a while. That's a really complex one, but yeah, a big one would be cool. I thought you were 50 years old. Yeah, well, almost, asshole. Thanks. Fucking dirtman. Okay, so you want to see how a room goes down. This is intense. I'm freaking out right now. So let's continue with the room that I was working on. I thought you were 50 years old. Yeah, that's on the internet now. Okay. So I can't forget Deck of Many Things. Got to get that into the campaign. All right. So we have got 2 giant spiders. And we're going to do Hankerin and Florian. So through by hook or by crook means that we haven't seen. These guys found themselves on the opposite sides of this wall. And now they are trapped away from each other, fighting 2 giant spiders. All right, I hope everybody can see. That might be a little hard to see, but there it is. Good Lord, I think I'm drunk. You guys are brutal. Roll salty die. Okay, so the reason that we wanted to set this up is you're like, I want to actually see how this shit goes down. Okay, we're going to have a timer, which is, there's freaking bloodthirsty, like, swarm of sparrows up above the trees here. Flying around. Or bats. Maybe it's like twilight right now. There's a swarm of bats. So, I'm going to get out my old trusty D4. And after X rounds, oh God, I rolled a 1. Fuck. So every round, the sparrows are going to swoop down and do 1d4 damage. We're going to make each of these guys 5 hit dice as their hit point class. So 30 hit points. We're going to make the spiders, fuck it, they're 5 hit dice as well. If you can stand next to this, you recover 1d6 per round. Okay? Pretty simple. And they need to find a way to either team up, just outright kill them, or maybe rally to the flag. Does that make sense? I'll message so you don't forget. Roll fork to sober up. I can't. It doesn't work that way. Okay, so let's do initiative. By the way, we've just been doing go around the table initiative the old way. It sucks. 15 for Florian, 6 for Hankerin, bad guys 19. So the spiders go first. They jump forward. This one jumps up, defends the banner. Its insect mind knows that's a strategic point. This one goes up and hides behind the ruins. Okay, then we have Florian. Strides up to the sticks and picks up one of these logs. Ah, back, you fiend! And then Hankerin, also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, moves up. Spider turn. This one holds his ground, waiting to attack. Same with this one. They're lying in wait. Disadvantage -4, already being drunk. All right. Florian charges forward with the stick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not quite in range. Hankerin. That's always a move he does. He runs up on the hill here to get advantage with high ground, but doesn't quite reach the target with a 5 for his move. Spiders. This spider jumps out, has advantage because he was somewhat concealed behind the ruins there. Where's my other? Here it is. Still misses. We're going on the 15 armor classes from before and the 1d6 from before. Still misses. Second attack is an acid spit. Misses with the acid spit. This spider is in range for acid spit. Hits. Acid spit. Sticks to Hankerin and will do him 1 damage every round. The sparrows swoop down.
doing 4 freaking damage. Oof, brutal. They just got pecked. Hankerin and Florian got pecked. That is harsh. What level of magic is the current campaign? Well, all my characters are 5th level. So there you have it. That was the sparrows. The spiders just went, I think. So it's Florian. He lifts the mighty pole and hits the spider with it. Ka-clunk. So for that, we're going to do first a hit. 11. He misses. So, but he still has the stick in his hands. Hankerin takes his attack at advantage against the spider. Even with advantage, misses. Spider turn. Melee against Hankerin. Misses. Melee against Florian. Misses. Acid spit on here. By the way, Hankerin just took another damage from poison. So we changed that over to a 5. Acid spit. Misses. Acid spit. Misses. Holy shit, that was crazy. And sparrows come down to do their damage. Man, rolling a 1 on that sparrow roll was brutal. So both guys take 1 damage from pecking. And it is Florian's turn. He tries with the giant log again. Hits. The spider makes a strength check to not be smashed by this thing. We'll just say beat a 15. Does not do it. The spider is pinned by the giant log. Meanwhile, Hankerin has advantage fighting from high ground. Hits. Does damage, finally. 2 damage on the spider. The spider's turn. They regenerate because he is next to the banner. Regenerates all his hit points. Oh, that's going to make Hankerin mad. He doesn't like that shit. By the way, Hankerin just took another damage from the poison. Whew. Okay, spider melee here. Still in melee range, but pinned in position. Misses. Melee here. Misses. Acid spit from the pinned spider. Hits. And we have poison stuck on Florian. He'll take 1 damage per round from now on. Acid spit on Hankerin. Misses. Crit miss. No double crit miss. No super fumble. And we are back to sparrows again. The sparrows take a peck for 3 brutal damage. And there we are. Spiders regenerates. Doesn't need to. Full of health. This one tries to throw off the log with a strength check. Fails. Melee attack here. Misses. Melee attack there. Misses. Out of spider spit for the moment. Florian. Disengages. Moves out. Takes 1 damage. Hankerin attacks with advantage and takes 1 damage. Hits. Fuck. Yes. 2 damage on the spider, which she's about to regenerate that. Frick. Sparrows. Oh, a 2. Hankerin's dying over here. All right. Boy, the odds are stacked against our heroes right now. We got spider melee on Hankerin. Hit. Does 4. This spider cannot attack, pinned under the log. And we have regeneration for the spider next to the banner. He regenerates all his damage, and we are on to Florian. First of all, he takes a damage for being poisoned and takes his little dice tracking train, does a full dash, and attempts to hurl his body through the wall of bushes. So I'm going to do a disadvantage strength check against the room, which is 15. Makes it anyway with a 16. Holy shit. Smashes through the bushes at the end of his turn. Takes 1 damage smashing through the bushes. Cuts and scratches. Hankerin needs to be by that banner. He stays engaged and reaches the banner. Regenerates. Regenerates for 6. Awesome. And then takes 1 damage for poison. And he is still in the fight, so he will attack
Without advantage, miss. All right, we've got one spider melee on Hankerin. Miss. We've got Florian. Comes in, casts generic heal on Hankerin for 1d6. Heals Hankerin for 4 damage, or 4 points. And we have poison damage on Florian, so that one racks up 1. Hankerin turn. Melee attack, shield smash on the face of the spider. Hits again. 4 more damage to the spider. Bang. Spider's turn. Regenerates from the thing. Oh wait, Hankerin regenerated. Nice, for 6 again. Spider regenerates. For 4, he is completely healed. Melee attack by spider on Hankerin. Misses. And Hankerin takes 1 for poison. All right, so this is how we play, you guys. Holy shit. So what level? Let me play DM. This is entirely not related to D&D. You're obviously talented. But what I was curious if you had worked much with other media. No. I mainly am an illustrator. I paint sometimes, like I make these kind of abstract paintings. But yeah, I'm generally just an illustrator. This is the first time I've really gotten into practical media, and I freaking love it. The skull commands, an Umber Hulk intervenes. Okay, great. So next up, we'll bring the sparrows down. 2 damage to Hankerin, 2 damage to Florian. They both take poison. Hankerin regenerates for 4. Then we have a spider melee. Let's do a strength check, see if this guy can get out from under the log. Nope. Let's do a spider melee on Hankerin. Miss. And we hear a halfling voice in the distance. My friends! Can you hand me a little halfling mini there, Twigs? I wonder if you ever painted minis. I did a little bit of that, yeah. How did you guys like the Hero Forge pieces? You know, the Hero Forge pieces are really cool. They're a little big, but they're totally awesome. But you have to completely paint them. They're white. And I honestly don't like the white too much. I like the colored figures a lot. If you can paint figures well, that's cool. But I love these Pathfinder ones because they're plastic and they're painted and they look cool in the scene. Cade Underbottom appears running up the top of the ruins. Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha. My friends, I will help you. He punches himself in the face. Transforms into Cade Underbottom, the Umber Hulk, the Under Hulk. Whew, okay. Holy shit, Cade just showed up. Just by showing up, looks like on line of sight, Hankerin accidentally looks at him, has to make the wisdom save, beat a 15. Doesn't do it, does the 1d8 confusing gaze power that Umber Hulks have. Gets a 1, so that means you do nothing, you freeze with terror. Okay, we've got Florian begins the initiative round. So Florian moves in to join the melee and takes 1 damage for poison. Florian is at 14 total damage. Misses on his melee attack. Hankerin makes his melee attack, takes 1 damage for poison, and misses. And then Cade, the Umber Hulk. I don't remember his exact numbers, but I think they're +7 to attack. They have the 2 claws and a bite, so it's going to be huge. Miss, hit, hit. And he's 2d8 on all his attacks. It's a little more than that. I think it's 2d8 +5, but it's 6. 12 plus 14 damage on the spider. Boosh! The Umber Hulk has entered the fray. So there's my spider damage right off to the side there. And everybody regenerates. How much? 2 damage. So the spider is back to 12. Florian is not adjacent. And Hankerin is down to 5. Okay, we've got spider melee and a strength check. Spider melee hits Hankerin. Does maximum damage, 6 damage. Strength check for the pinned spider. He breaks free with a 20. This stick goes flying. Almost kills Florian. Spider is free. And the sparrows.
Sparrows do 2 damage, so. Oh man, look at these fucking sparrows. Little winged bitches. Alright, and then we finally have Florian. Florian, away with you, infernal birds! Casts Holy Flame on his mace and holds it up to scare off the sparrows. Rolling a charisma check. Makes it with an 18, and the flock of sparrows is scared away forever. Fucking finally. Get rid of the goddamn sparrows. Alright. Hankerin grabs the banner and disengages, takes the attack of opportunity from the spider. Spider misses. He denies him the regeneration. And now Cade comes in with the attack. There is a grid in here, by the way. The grid is cut into my game board. Cade goes for the attack. Nat freaking 20 on the dwarven dice. That's 4d8. Does 18 damage, so 3 more 6s. That just killed the spider. Okay, I think you guys get the point. Do you prefer? Oh, watching how you operate is an inspiration to give it a go. I think you guys can see how combat works in our game. It gives you a lot more time to frickin' role play and do the cool stuff if you keep your combat clean. It does ask a lot of your players. Your players need to be ready to step to the table, be prepared, and think simple. You can't have a lot of sit around. Can you hand me the timer, Twigs? So you're asking, as a DM, how do I control how fast my players move? Well, you generally want to just DM fast and DM with a lot of energy and keep this combat pumping. Like, you need to light these bushes on fire. Somebody needs to run up this hill and jump over this fucker. Ah! Somebody needs to make a raft out of these and like ride Cade. Like, you guys have had epic D&D moments. It's just make sure that the way you're dungeon mastering recreates the moments as much as is possible and makes sense for the story. Anyway, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's kind of fun to see deeper into the scene where all my dice tracking is happening. So you can kind of, where I've been tracking poison and Hankerin's hit points and stuff like that. So I think the battle is basically won when Hankerin has the heal banner. He regenerates in a couple of turns, and Cade jumps through the burning bushes and smashes the remaining spider. So that would be an example of just a little bit of combat. So I can't remember who asked that question. You guys like a Hero Forge pieces you got for the Underbottom twins? Oh, yeah, they're pretty cool. I've been DMing for my kids. Nice. That's cool, John. That's a great way to get the kids, like, you know, the old way that D&D was described is like, it's all about your imagination. Because I think in the early days, a lot of these concepts were so new and so exciting. It was very, I'm imagining it. But honestly, there's been so much media built around the D&D experience. In a lot of ways, you're remembering it. And I think the new essence, which, you know, a lot of people call it the OSR, the old school Renaissance, it's really that it is now truly a game, and a game in a wonderful sense of the word, which is that a lot of the fundamentals are really familiar to people. And so it gives them that sense of playing and enjoying it rather than trying to conjure it in their minds. Does that make any sense? I don't know. I can tell you, though, it's just like pop music right now. This is a golden age for D&D. We have passed through the phase where being a nerd took a lot of resolve and often a lot of like pain and loneliness, and it was very difficult to be a nerd. And then we passed into this new phase where the nerd is the mainstream culture, and the beginning of that was also really bad because it felt like basically a giant sellout, and it really sucked. But we're past that phase too now, and now it's just awesome to do this stuff and to draw on all the things that pop media are doing and that we all
reminisce about from the 80s and 90s, and like it's all gelling in a way that I really honestly didn't foresee happening. I was so used to it being an underground, dejected hobby that to have it treated with such reverence nowadays is really exciting. And I don't know, just all this work of how to get this to be smooth and fun seems like it's all coming to bear. So that's kind of cool. If I had kids, I would do that. Well, don't have kids just so you have someone to play D&D with. You got me. I got into D&D at age 7, so I figured out that. Yeah, I think I got into it when I was about 11. I have many great memories from when I was their age. Pen, paper, theater of the mind. Yeah, man, we really started with GURPS and Fantasy Hero. My first DM that blew my mind was a Fantasy Hero DM. He wound up going into the military, but he was amazing. He just had this sense of action. And then when we weren't just in like hot, crazy, intense action, the role playing was really chill because we knew that the combat was really freaking intense and crazy. So we really relished those moments when all we were doing was talking around the campfire, because we knew at any second we're going to do kind of an experience like what you guys just saw, which is just like, you know, keep the combat feeling intense and fast and epic. Oh my God, Mazes and Monsters. You guys know where I stand on Mazes and Monsters. I'm a huge fan. I actually think it's like a cultural anthropological phenomenon. Mazes and Monsters really says a lot about the era and what times were like in the 80s. I mean, it's a real, like, I don't know, a bit of a canary in a coal mine about the rejection of nerd culture at that time. But inadvertently, in trying to disgrace this hobby, Mazes and Monsters made it legendary, made it partly what it is today. And I love it when suckers do that. They try to hate and try to bring people down because they're not having a good time, and they just wind up making it way more epic. It's like, nice. Back to your bridge, bitch, little troll. Okay, now we're getting a little drunk. No kids till I'm ready. So this is just really taking a weird turn in the comment stream over here. Oh man, I don't want to know about your preparedness for having children. That is too deep for the first live show. That's intense. I've heard it's a far out game. What's a far out game? Oh shit, it's Lofi. Lofi's in the house. What's up, dude? From Cult Moo, it's Lofi Molasses. Rolling up on the channel. Hey, man. I drank as much Malort as I could without feeling weird, and now I'm on to Jameson, a more respectable liquor, as well as plenty of beer in a jar. You know how I like it in the jar. Nice to have you, dude. We've just been, we ran through some combat in a room. We've been looking at my low-res light bright. People have been forcing me to drink and asking me how I make stuff. I got some trees here. Nice to have you. Was that the reefer madness of D&D? Whoa, that is a heavy statement. For those of you who don't know about reefer madness, that was a propaganda film developed during the Red Scare, which was supposed to make people think that marijuana was evil and fucked you up and is part of communism. And what it did was make everybody want to go smoke weed. So it's very similar with D&D. It was like, oh man, this is Satanism. And everybody's like, that Satanism sounds awesome. But good point, Lofi. That's some deep sociological understanding there. Hey, I'm glad you made it through the Malort. I wouldn't say I made it through. I had maybe 5 shots of it. And it starts eating a hole in your digestive system. Okay, I spliced. What is the skull command? I guess this is, holy shit. Nice to have you, Lofi. I hope you're lifting up a drink. And we're just eating Doritos over here, keeping it pretty basic, and we're kind of looking at shit. Oh, God. Man, thanks for bringing the Umber Hulk into that fight. He just got that work done. Now, remember, you guys, you don't need a big freaking game board to have a good encounter. I don't want to come off like minis and mini terrain are like the key to D&D, because they're totally not. It's all right here, and it's all just how much fun you're willing to have. Like, this is it. This is perfect right here. We got a wizard with his goat and a Northman. I've never played. Hey, Lofi, actually there is a movement on the table, a motion on the table to do a Drunkards and Dragons with Cult Moo one-off D&D night. So I would love to do that. You and Waro and Pink and me and Cyrus, and we will do some kind of a terrifying culinary romp through D&D. I have some 5.9% root beer. I would 5.9% what? So what's the rest? What's the other 94%? Not root beer? Oh God, the skull commands shots. Of course it does. Well, we're almost through this entire skull of Jameson, but these things hold like a pint, I swear. These things are terrible. Oh, okay. I think am I in frame here with this little? We need a stone. Let's get a stone out. A couple of these dwarves, elven stones. There we go. I can't really see too well what I'm building, so you guys have to bear with me. There we go. I wanted to fight where there's a bush between them. Oh, Moss! Moss! Whoa, 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 whoa. We just got a fact that marijuana is still, oh my God, it annoys the fuck out of me when people say people smoke weed and sit on the couch all day and eat munchies. Yeah, we're not really a political channel, Joseph. Appreciate your thing, but yeah, just woof, what a mess. All right, cool D&D store, and you need an electrician. Okay, guy in the kid showed up. Kid saw me working on Drunken's approved terrain. He freaked and pulled us down. Just moved here from New York. Really sure I'm about to play next weekend. Awesome. Played first edition. That's dope, man. Way to get it done. That's cool. Not your father's root beer. Yeah, so that's weird. Hey, I'm an electrician. Oh shit, you play D&D? Me too. Cool. Let's roll some fighters. Good times. What is this doing in here? All right, what else we got? Oh, you know what? I never got to this. How do you keep your battle moving? Use one of these. I don't know if you can see very well, but get yourself a little sand timer. I think this is a 1-minute timer. If your players start doing telepathy, which is my least favorite player behavior of them all, that's basically where they're like talking to each other about their strategies and intentions and goals, but they're not really talking in the world, so they're using like mind telepathy to agree on strategies and convince each other what to do. I hate that shit. It eats a lot of game time. It kind of dilutes the game. So if you get that happening a lot, I just have this timer sitting around, and once it's your turn, I flip the timer. It's that simple. Get your turn done. Keeps the game moving. There's nothing more important in combat than to keep it moving in my mind, to keep the energy up. So anyways, this is just a little sand timer that I built the styrofoam bases for. So, Hankerin, have you ever used races other than the core, e.g. shifters? No, I haven't. I don't even like, I'm not really a fan of even Dragonborn or Tieflings or half anything. Maybe half orc, just because you get green Ben Affleck was one of our characters that we had at one point, but no, I really am a true believer in Tolkien, obviously, as my whole lifestyle and tattoos reveal. And I like how the races are clean there. And they're not even really races. They're more just variations on people. And I really like that. Races that include a lot of powers, I think, encourage min-maxing, and I think that's bad. I don't even know what a shifter is. Is that like, sounds like a phase spider. Shout out from Sydney, Australia. Woo! What's up in Australia, man? When you're in Australia and you roll a 1, you actually roll a 6 because you're in the, because it's upside down. What do you feel about the point buy system versus rolling 46 and dropping the lowest? Now that's a stone cold real question right there. I spliced. We do 46, drop lowest every time. That's how we make our characters. Honestly, I'm the biggest fan of just rolling 3d6 the old way with only one try and dealing with the problems. But yeah, we do 46 and drop lowest. Point buy system I think is fucked. Right away, the point buy system puts you in the wrong mindset, which is like, I need to get the most for my money in my character. That's not how the world works. If you think about your own life, You didn't point by yourself. You came into existence, and you have to deal with your strengths and weaknesses and learn as best you can and be yourself. And that's how a character should be too. Oh, the werewolves from Eberron. My colleague Keith Baker wrote Eberron. I worked with him at a company called VR1 back in the 90s, and he really got into writing, and he's still doing it, and he wrote the entire Eberron world, so that's kind of cool. He did a great job. Way to go, Keith. He also did the Gloom card game. If you don't have a copy of Gloom, go get that card game. It's awesome. Same writer as Eberron. So I don't know, fun side fact. I don't know about the shifters, but I loved the Warforged from Eberron, and I loved the part of Eberron where there are two things. There's a giant crater in their world, like no one knew how it got there, and there's weird shit going on in the crater. And they also had this great area called Pools of Madness, which are like these weird, I don't think it described them in the book, but in my mind it was like these weird swamp pools with visions in them and shit. I used that idea to start my novel. So you guys will all be discovering that, I hope. Thanks for die rolling. I loathe the point buy system. Yeah, point buy is very GURPSy, very fantasy hero, and has very limited appeal. So balls on that one. I agree with you 120%. That's impossible. You can only agree 100%. All right, it's 11:15, guys. It's getting pretty late, especially when you're 50 years old. Dershman, are you still in there? Where you at? Sound off, B. Where the hell's Pink? That's what I want to know. Is he asleep? Yeah, I spliced. Try rolling a wizard with a 3d6 strict roll system. See how it goes. It's really interesting. Oh, nice. I caught up. Woo. We're killing it. Good times. Is this quaint in frame? I don't even know what I'm doing with this. It just kind of looks cool. Moss is such a weird material to work with. It glues so weird. Like I use like 5 glue sticks to glue my moss together. These are really fun to make. Also, I got a nice thing. Look at this. You can buy colored sand. That's like a thing you can go spend your money on. So what you do is you paint just a little bit of Elmer's or even acrylic paint onto your piece and then sprinkle the sand on, and you get the great little micro plant details. Who are those? Oh, hey, they're probably making waffles. I hope so. Butt waffles. What's the best race for a starter just messing around with D&D? The best race? Well, probably just human. Keep it simple. Make a fighter. Do the basics. Wizard is going to be your hardest character to fully play, to really understand and play. Fighter's pretty damn easy. You just need to understand armor, hit points, second wind, using weapons, simple stuff. I'd say the next one would be Ranger Rogue, then move into the magic users. But yeah, tracking magic and using it in a creative way can be pretty challenging for a new player. Just saying, I use the spell that's on my sheet now and here's the effects. You can do that, but that isn't really, to me, what a magic user does. They need to keep magic, and that can be a bit of a burden for storytelling. God, waffles sound so fucking good right now. Like waffles with Spam in them. Oh, God, that'd be awesome. Oh. Is there an item that you crafted that you're most proud of and you can show it up closely? That's a cool question. What are you pointing at?
The crane?
Well, there's the crane. I don't know. I'm so new to this that I can't really say, like, behold what I've done. I'm just learning. But this one was definitely fun to make, just for its mechanical awesomeness. As far as its paint and stuff, it's not that great, but the mechanical awesomeness is pretty cool. Definitely the black banner and the dwarf head are really cool. So this is our, the Duragar have this kind of epic architecture featuring dwarven motifs, kind of like Moria. And this is a challenging carve when you're working with styrofoam. Like, this is really fun to think in negative space and create a form like this, and then use gold and silver paint. And then I love these things. You guys have probably seen these in some videos, but here's my little goblin banner. And then I think this is my favorite one. This is a little sword banner, and this one uses twine styrofoam. It has the base is made of pennies, so it's like never falls over. The flags themselves are made out of this wacky kind of foamy fabric-y stuff, so they're a little bit flexible, and just the way the wood works. I haven't really gotten back to that style of sculpture, and I really need to. It's really fun little layers of wood and the way it looks and works. It's kind of a lot of media coming together. Had fun though. I mean, my camera shot, I can't tell if that's good or not right now, but really happy with those. I love the wagon too. I think the wagon is epic as shit. The worst part of the wagon is like the first night we're doing the wagon, it got smashed. I think it's up top maybe. But the wagon has a lot of fun, really small detail. It has little metal spikes on it. It's got a little ale keg in the back. It's got working wheels with working axles and nice little metal ring accents that just really make its scale work really well with a Mini. So really happy with those. But you know, this is practical media are always unpredictable, and you're always finding new surprises with how things stick together and how they take color. And I don't know, it's definitely an adventure. I've worked a bunch in Maya and in ZBrush and obviously Photoshop and pen drawing and all that stuff, but none of it quite has the magic that the practical media has, because it just surprises you so much. The surprises are like just priceless. I was gonna, oh my God, we still have Spam Waffle, grilled spam. Everything you're doing is impressive. Dedication to craft. Fuck yeah, Lofi. You know it, man. I'm putting the time in. I like doing this stuff the right way. It's fun. It makes people smile and stuff. Tamale waffles. Oh my God, that's fucking brilliant. I was gonna ask you about the dwarf head. I saw it. I don't know if you carved it. Yeah. Yeah, this is just a piece of polystyrene. Like, here, I'll show you one that's in progress. Ugh. So at one point I wanted to make a stone sculpture of a giant Umber Hulk that was going to be a gate carved in the form of a giant Umber Hulk. And this is actually a more complex sculpture than the dwarf head. It's like an articulated arm with fingers and a head and all. This isn't done yet, but yeah, carving sort of character art in styrofoam is pretty damn challenging. It's like really makes you appreciate the old stone carving masters. The ability to see negative space in stubborn media is super impressive. It's something like stone that's mind-blowing. Did you make the wagon? Yeah, man, I made the wagon out of tongue depressors and skewers. What is the most difficult game of D&D that you have had? I would say probably when we were extremely high level in 3rd edition in college. We were 18th level, and we were doing Spelljammer. And basically every encounter that we would go into in Spelljammer was just like mega deadly. These crazy ship battles, and there are mind flayers like fucking everywhere, and the numbers are just out of control. Like everything was in the 60s and 70s as far as damage, and as far as like, it's just fucking psycho. So that would definitely be the hardest one. I'd say some of the Spelljammer encounters in the late 90s. The Umber Gate. Yeah. Yeah, this thing, I don't know. We'll see if I can get this thing done, but I think you guys can see the Umber Hulk anatomy kind of coming together, but where do you get your polystyrene? At Lowe's, man. They got some. So I've been working my way through this piece, and here's how much is left. So, yeah, so I buy very large pieces of styrene and work through them in blocks. a lot of times we'll work with blocks of, you know, a little bigger than this. So you just get your knife and cut a block, you know, and then you work your way down. You can't see it, but I have a massive trash can filled with tiny little pieces of styrene. Oh God. 2x2x. Yeah. Reeves knows what's up. You should pursue sculpting. Your prior experience as an artist seems to be translating. The Umber Hulk and the skull are cool. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. That's the plan. I actually have a bunch of clay sculpting supplies for making armatures and stuff coming next week. So I'm going to try to do some character portraits. Yeah, Lowe's, man. They have all kinds of fun stuff. Have you given hot wire carving a try yet? I'm not really a believer. I'm sorry. I think it's kind of whack. I think that the hot wire with the styrofoam actually eliminates the magic of the styrofoam, which is the chaos and the way that styrofoam breaks and cracks and scrapes. The hot wire stuff to me really smooths it out too much and gives it like a toy-like look. And I don't like that look. I like this very antiqued look. And a lot of the magic of that is not doing precise cuts, but doing just enough cuts and then cracking the piece off. Which, you know, like Rodin uses that technique a lot. Although he sculpts a lot more through addition than he does through subtraction, but I digress. Oh, nice, we caught up again. Where's the Doritos? Oh. Woo. This should be a high-paying job doing this. This is demanding shit. Okay, it's 11:30. How many viewers we got, Twig? 26. Yeah, Guru. You know, if you go to the local like Warhammer gaming group and check out their artwork, their terrain, a lot of times it's absolutely incredible, great effort, but it gets a toy-like look, either because the highlights are over-exaggerated, the shapes get too smooth, or the noise of the detail is neglected for the sake of like clean color, and it gives it like that He-Man-like look, which, I mean, freaking He-Man is awesome, but this is why I do all my painting with sponges. So yeah, like here's one of my paint plates. So I don't know if you guys can see this, but basically it's where I mix my colors. I use a sponge to do my painting, and then I have some sand and some sawdust and other grit to integrate into my paint to give it texture. But I think using the sponge can be very hard to control it. Really, there's very little control involved. You have a lot of surprises, but it puts a lot of noise into your piece. So I don't know if you guys can see it, but if you take a look at this piece, there's just a lot of paint noise. There's little plants in the cracks. And then I like to cut engravings and cracks with a X-Acto knife, and like all that noise I think is giving me the look that I'm doing. And I want to keep working on that. If you guys check out Mini Girl on her channel, she does amazing detail on her mini bases. This shit's crazy. Gotta go to bed. I'll shoot you a new email for proofreading. Thanks, Ice Splice. Thanks for tuning in, man. It's good to have you. Sleep tight. Don't let monkey face bite. And we'll see you around on Drunken and Dragons, dude. Nice to have you. Get your sleep. How big is your long john? Well, just big enough to go from my waist to my ankles, I suppose. I don't want to be cold in the wintertime. Do you like Asians or not? Yeah, I'm pro-Asian. Let's see what you can do without a set or props. How engaging can you make it as a DM? Pretty good, but honestly, I'm not into that right now. I've done that. I've done a lot of that, and I'm having too much fun with the sculpture work. Yeah, I think basically what you would see is a very similar experience as far as die rolling, but without the time that's wasted with some of the, you know, making sure not to knock things over and stuff. But I think my approach has been pretty similar for a long time now. So it would basically be like, ba-da-da, roll, boom, oh shit, yeah, you're up, boom, roll, okay, nice. What do you got? I'm jumping over the thing, lighting it on fire. Dex check, boom, got it, missed it. Okay, 4 damage. This guy, you know, that's kind of the technique I like to roll. Okay, Jacob, thanks, man. Hang loose. Oh, we finally got a troll. Thank you, Diana, for showing up, man. This was not a legitimate internet event until we got a troll. Thanks for showing up. You brink and fur hair, you're boring and have hair loss. Yeah, well, it's cool. Check it out. It is coming out. Man, finally. Okay, it's a real transmission. We finally got a troll. I'm so happy. Fuck off, Diana. You're a 12-year-old boy trying to troll. Zyber04. Boy, that is a very bot-like name. I haven't checked out Minigirl's stuff. She has great ideas. Yeah, Minigirl's really cool techniques. She uses like a lot of toxic materials. It's kind of dope. I'm heading out. Okay, Big Craft is out. Yep. We're coming up on 11:30. It's great to have you guys. Well, then sculpt something, bitch. Oh, right. Awesome. We finally got to this phase. Did you already cover where you picked up that epic shot glass? This freaking thing? We got a couple of these. You can get them on ThinkGeek. So get them, Lofi. Why don't you have these? You drink crap all the time. You should already have these. You're drinking things out of like a leather glove, aren't you? You cut the head off a rubber chicken and filled it with whiskey. I would expect nothing less. Well, that was exciting to have the trolls in there for a second. Guys, it looks like we're finishing up. It has been a blast. Thanks for coming. Are we down to like 20 now? Are we dwindling?
27.
27. Oh man, it's still prime time on Dungeons and Dragons, baby. But that's it. Stay tuned. We're going to be doing more cool shit. We're going to do a live show once a month. It's either going to be this garbage or a live play session with my group, depending on pants, whether or not they're being worn. Boots and pants and boots and pants and boots. Thanks for spending time showing us your shit. Super jealous. Don't be jealous, dude. Just get out there and get it done, man. All the stuff is cheap. It's the time that's hard to come by. So if you can find the time, yes, go for it. It's definitely time-consuming shit. But it's not hard, especially sponge painting. You know, anybody can do sponge painting. Hey, thanks, John Reeves. Good to have you, man. Get the fuck out. See you next time. I need my medicine, and I'll take it in whatever container. No, you won't take it in whatever container. You'll get one of these and drink whiskey out of it, like a badass. The skull commands a sacrifice of liquor. Okay, well, let's finish off the Jameson. Oh. Woo! There you go, jerk. Oh, made it all the way. Nicely done, Thunderfist. Thanks for having us, Hankerin. See you on the next show. Thunderfist, get your notes done tonight, man. Don't go to bed yet. Stay up for another half hour. Process this shit. Get it down in your book. Make your players more happy than they've ever been before. Peace and good luck. Zyber, to you too, brother. Thanks, man. Thanks for showing up. Good night. Judge Western, peace out. Ubelio Montero, the skull commands that we all go to bed now and get out of here. No, I just took the last of my whiskey. I am done. Although I will finish my beer, Ubelio, out of respect. Room temperature. The jar is empty. Ice spliced. Peace. Ubelio, peace. And Draven, good to have you. Jason, thanks for the show, man. Oh, no, it's great to have you. More questions. Let's do this again in a month. It will be a blast, and let's keep going. Let's keep making D&D all it can be. Let the OSR continue. Strength, honor, and beer. You guys, thanks for coming. See you in the future. Drunken and Dragons signing off.